No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
Good evening, everyone. Tottenham away Monday. The best place to be in town. If you're a Spurs fan, if you're not a Spurs fan, it's still the best place to be in town. Big up to all the Spurs massive. Big up to all the Arsenal frauds who watch us as well. The other rattled, shaken up fan who can't handle Tottenham right now. We love you as well. We got Mari in the building. We got JP in the building. Sava from Heritage. So let me say that again. Sava from Heritage. He'll be joining us later on as well. But until he arrives, we will crack a lack on. Mari, brother, what are you saying?
I am feeling good, feeling great. Good times in my life, and good to be back on a Monday. Because last Monday, I was in Mexico. Yeah, so it's good to be back engaged, and then. Yeah, man, it's just a good weekend. I can't wait for football to come back. Actually, it was a good night. Yesterday, Boca made it to the semifinals of Argentina, Copa Argentina, and then Copa Libertadores. So I'm real happy about that, hence me wearing the jersey. And so things are good.
Congratulations on the engagement, Mari. Big up.
Thank you.
Yes. Big up. Massive
Always
congratulations, man.
good when she says yes. JP, how you doing?
I'm all right. Big up. Massive congratulations, Mary.
Oh, thank you, brother.
I will literally say I am bored. Yes. Miss Tottenham, man. Miss Tottenham. And do you know what? The game's Monday night as well, so it's even longer. So damn.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, at least we'll get it back, which is a good thing. We're on a high at the minute. Just I still pray for no injuries coming and all that. So let's see. Let's see.
Not long
Bring
to go.
it on. Nah.
Let's pick up everyone in the chat. We've got TJ Warren, one of the biggest frauds in the business.
Hey,
Had his 500 sub show the other day. Make sure you go and check that out on TJ Warren TV.
Yes, like
get
and
him to 1,000.
subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Get him to 1,000, man.
Get him to 1,000.
Get TJ to 1,000 ASAP. Jason in the building. How you doing, brother? Language Angels. William, Chris Agomba, Ryan Busy, Adrian Schrocker, Son of Potato, JJ, Jammy Get in the house, Andy Lloyd, Philly in NYC, Ronan the Scouser. He's in the house tonight as well. We've got Rob Frank, we've got Spurs 1. Sean Likes, how you doing? We've got JJ, I've already said hello to. Sophie's in the house. How you doing, Sophie? Congrats to Mari from Sophie.
Thank you. The ring is good. I remember talking to Sophie about it. Yeah, the ring it's good. It's good.
The ring is good. Neats is in the house. Simon's in the house. Kuva99. How you doing, brother?
Hope you're well, man.
In fact, Kuva, I'll tell you what. I'll send you the link now. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome. I don't know why I didn't send it to you earlier, to be fair, but I'll do it now whilst I've seen your name in the chat. If Kuva's free, he will jump on. If he's not, he'll stay in the comments. So I've sent it to Kuva. We've got DJ Marcus Anthony, another Arsenal fraud. He joins us tonight. There he is, look, giving it large about DVDs and being top and blah, blah. We love Marcus. Big up to Jonas. How you doing? I hope you're well. We've also got Darren Ayres in the house. Tot Spurs in the house. Cold Shot.
Hey.
Ron. My name is Jeff. Trinidad and Deep. Big up to you. David Clark. Shri. David Clark. 3W Sports. Edward Talks. Mark Cousins there as well. Hope everyone's well. Guys, about 100 people watching. Smash a like, subscribe, all that stuff as always.
Hit that like.
Hit that like. So, Andy Lloyd there as well. How you doing? How are you, Andy? Hope all is good all is good where you are from. So, do you know, I was thinking, what do we talk about today? Because obviously no one really cares about the internationals at the moment. Maybe some people do. I mean, I'm not too bothered. I don't know if you lot are. But, you know, there's something that I've noticed happening a lot at the moment. And I wanted to start there. In fact, I'm going to leave it, actually. Wait for Savah to come back because there's a topic I want to discuss, and that is what I feel is a growing hate towards Spurs. And normally, there's stages. First, they hate you, then they respect you, then they applaud you, right? And the question I'm going to post later when Savah comes on, we can all discuss it. Is this hate beginning of fans' fear that we might become good? We'll park that there for now. We'll come back to it later on because I think that's what's happening. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion.
Can we talk about the possible Sheik coming in? I guess London.com, they put a little blurb about possibly the Sheik looking at us now that the United deal didn't come through.
All right. Let's start there. We'll talk about that. But I'll give you my quick take on it. I don't think there's going to be any deal with any Arabic state whilst this situation between Israel and Palestine is going on, given the fact that we have a significant Jewish fan base and ownership. I just don't see how this would go down well in any way, shape, and form at a club like us. For me, on a personal level, I'm Levy out. I'm Enoch out. You know, just someone, as long as whoever comes in is actually going to do things the right way by the football team, I can sell myself short to owners. But
can I tell you what I saw over the?
I think Mari, it's just so difficult now, isn't it?
Timing's really not right, is it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's because I saw the pictures, I saw the Talk Sport blurb about this, and when I look into it, as much as we want Levy out, for this club to be sold, it's going to take a massive, 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 I mean massive offer. Because if I'm Daniel Levy, why in the world would I want to sell Spurs? And this is where I'm going at. I'm looking at pictures of him with the officials, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, and some of these NFL teams, because the NFL games have been at Tottenham Stadium the last couple of weeks. And then the Talksport blurb, and I've said this before, sooner or later, they will play the Super Bowl in London, because they were talking about it. The commissioner of the NFL was talking about it. And it's not going to be anytime soon, 3 or 4 or 5 years. But I think within 15 years or within 10 years, we may have our first international Super Bowl. That may come at the same time of Tottenham. I'm talking about Tottenham. I'm talking about Daniel Levy owning an NFL team. So if you know that in 10 years incoming that you're going to own an NFL franchise, and right now an NFL franchise, I'm talking that because an NFL franchise is worth so much. And I know people, outside the United States, right? They know the NFL is big, but they don't know how big these NFL franchises are worth. I mean, if you're Daniel Levy, why are you going to leave possibly 7 to 8 billion in profit? That London NFL team, and I heard someone said this, would worth possibly as equal as the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys is always number one on the list, above Real Madrid. A franchise in London would be massive. And so if you're Daniel Levy, why would you sell, even if the sheik gave a good offer, say 5 or 6 billion for Tottenham, to pass up, like TJ Warwick said, an NFL team, put it up there, in London, put that statement from TJ Warren. I'll put it. Yeah. That London franchise would be, Stel,
why is it as soon as people mention my name? As soon as people mention my name, the world collapses. Like, stop. It's just Stel.
Yeah. I'm frozen. I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
Yeah,
we can hear you, but your picture is.
Okay.
Mari,
that NFL franchise.
Log out and come back in. That'll probably fix it.
Welcome, Kuva.
Because
big up. No, Mari's soldiering.
He's going on. He's cracking on. He's cracking on. He's trying to crack on.
Yeah.
So everyone, Mari's left the show, been replaced by Kuva. The upgrade has happened.
Woohoo!
We look almost identical.
Snap. It's like snap, isn't it?
Yeah,
hey, man.
The resemblance is astonishing, Kuva.
It really is. It really is. But we thought there was nothing going on this week, didn't we? And then it starts to get interesting again. Isn't it a bit strange though? How I know you and I and many others, we've been calling for so much change to happen at the club in the way it's run in the background, you know, the academy setups and things like that. Now we suddenly start to be clear signs we're getting that. Talk comes of selling up anyway. There's some interesting things that Levy said over the last few weeks, though, isn't there? About himself and the board, they're always open to discussions with any offer that comes in for the club if it's in the best interest of the football club. Read into that what you like, though. Does he really mean in his best interests? Because I'd say that was much more likely. He's out to make some money, isn't he? Surely.
I totally get that. I totally get what Mari's saying with the fact that with him still there, you could honestly see a Tottenham Hotspur NFL team, couldn't you? Literally, it could be like there's a game every other weekend, every away game the football team play. You can see an NFL game there. I think one of the things I heard earlier was the fact that they were saying that for them to purchase Man United, it was going to be about 6 billion or something like that, right? Plus, on top of that, he was wanting to redevelop their stadium and also put a significant pot into the team, which you're looking at what, 7 billion or something like that, 8 billion, like all in all. That if he was to go out and buy Man United, that's what they probably would have ended up shelling out. If he buys us for 6, he gets the stadium, he gets all of that. Levy gets a free hotel out of it, a free cinema, a free golf complex.
JP, right? There's two ways to look at this, in my view. Okay, you've got the mind. In fact, let's just apply it to how we as humans think, right? Do you live for the here and now and get what you can now, or are you building and you want to enjoy it further down the line, right? So for us as people in general, you'd say, well, I don't care about my pension and retirement and all that. You know, you could drop dead tomorrow. I want to live it now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And if something comes my way, I'll take it. And okay, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. Or some people are like, well, I'm not going to get carried away and do this and do that and put money here and buy this car now. I'm going to build up. So when I retire, I've got a really good life. But what if you don't get to retirement? But then what if you do get to retirement? You've got nothing saved. So I guess it's kind of somewhere in the middle. But people have different ways of looking at it. And with Tottenham, if you apply that kind of thinking to Levy, do you cash in now where Chelsea for £4 billion, that's what they were valued, that's what it was sold for, that automatically makes Spurs minimum 4 billion because we've got more cash flow, we generate more income, we've got more valuable assets in them, but we've got debt. So you could say, hold on, there is the debt to offset. So we're at least 4 billion. And then you look at the fact that we've got the potential for an NFL team, the potential for stadium naming rights still. There's things in place where you can still build. So let's whack another 2-3 billion on it. So Levy could say, actually, do you know what? I actually want £6 billion because that's what it's worth when you look at the bigger picture if you were to buy the club. And likewise, if you were to buy Man United, you're not just spending whatever much they want. The cost to build a brand new stadium now, like Spurs, is £2 billion.
Heavy.
It's double. Everything's gone up in price. It's double the price. Levy was talking about it. So that factors in as well. So does Levy say, look, I can sell this now for 6-7 billion and see you later? Or does he say, actually, if I get those naming rights still, and I build these hotels and apartments and cinema, and I get an NFL deal, and we become the NFL Hotspurs, the Tottenham Tornadoes, and the Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and then all this shit, then in maybe 10 years' time, he can say, actually, I want 20 billion. So what isn't that what it's going to come down to? Does he take the big money now, or does he take a ridiculous amount in 10 years' time? And I think we're kind of somewhere there.
You can. Sorry, Mo, 2 secs. You can, but you're also then taking not necessarily like a gamble on the fact that once you've not exceeded, but once you've got that package in place and you've signed the revenue deal and you've signed the stadium deal and you've got an NFL team and you've got all of that and you've got that package together, will there be anyone who wants to buy it for 20 billion?
Well, yeah, because Stan Kroenke,
Or
what he does,
is it?
what Stan Kroenke does, he buys a Tottenham, but he then buys an ice hockey team, he then buys a basketball team, then he has a portfolio, doesn't he? So we would
Yeah,
become
but
one of
like
a
not
number of
not
a sports
And,
group like Kroenke.
and let me add to this. What I was trying to say, what TJ said so well, owning for him a London NFL franchise, this team will be the most popular team in the world. The amount of money that's coming in, if you're Daniel Levy, you would have to be crazy. And I understand the point that you want to cash out now with the Tottenham entity, but you're giving up future billions in profits. For example, last night they had the Sunday night football game last night, and you know what the announcers, and I can't play it for you for copyright reasons. You know what they mentioned? They mentioned Tottenham Stadium, and they mentioned Tottenham being top of the league. They mentioned Tottenham being tied with Arsenal, be on top of the league in the NFL football game. At the beginning of the game, I could play you the audio because the game is on DVR. I could replay it. I couldn't believe it. Daniel Levy must have been jizzing in his pants that they mentioned on Sunday Night Football. All of America's watching. All of America, because the London games come on early. People still at church or whatsoever. But they mentioned Tottenham Stadium and Tottenham Hotspur being top of the league last night, because I'm a Giants fan, so I was watching Sunday night, and they mentioned it. Daniel Levy must have been like saying, "Thank you, God. This is what like." And so,
and thank you, and
yeah,
thank you, and
yeah, I don't think. I'm gonna be real honest. He would have to be stupid to sell this team. Stupid to sell this team because of what will come in regards of revenue, money coming in later on. And it's just right now the Redskins sold for $6 billion. Can you imagine a new NFL franchise in London? So that's why I mean the Sheik could come in with a great offer, but because of your recent style and because of what I'm saying, I don't think that it's going to I don't think it's going to happen. I think Levy is going to own this club until he eventually gets an NFL franchise, a couple of hotels, because they want to have property and entities. And you brought up Stan Kroenke, his stadium in LA for the LA Rams. It's his piece. It's part of his portfolio. Arsenal, the NBA champions, Nuggets, and the LA Rams. And I think Daniel Levy wants the same.
That's fair enough.
Like,
and he's a bit of a megalomaniac, isn't he? Who wants to kind of sit back on his throne almost and look at his shining jewels that are in front of him, and there's my great big shiny stadium, and look how well they're doing, and there's my NFL club and stuff. So you could see it. Sorry, Cougar.
Yeah, I was just thinking that there's more than one way to invest in a club, isn't there? I mean, we could be looking at there's just like a 25% investment as well. It might be something that's lesser. I mean, that is what Enoch did to start with when Sugar took over. They were a sort of lesser partnership. It may be a long-term thing. It may be a case of this is the only type of bloke in the world that's going to be capable of offering Levy enough money at the moment. The very fact we've currently got Amgen and the style of football we're playing, and we're sitting there top of the league, that's a massive bonus for Levy at the moment. Use that as a huge marketing tool, because now the primary primary function of the football club is the football. We're doing rather well at the moment, so it's all coming together nicely. Does he cash in? That is a really big question, and I think I'm going to lean towards what Mari's saying. It kind of doesn't make sense if you're looking to make a killing. You look what they bought the club for. What in the first place? 21 million, something like that, and it's now worth several billion. If he hangs on to it for another 20 years, keeps doing what he's doing, hopefully getting the football right at the same time. It could be worth another 20 billion, like Stell said. Who knows? We're talking of astronomical amounts of money now, so it limits the amount of buyers there are out there. If somebody like a Sheikh though is determined to get a football club, even though they think Man United's overpriced, it's like not a realistic figure, they might be looking at what's happening here, and because we're based in London, that's another big point as well. It's all there. It really is all there for this kind of owner to come in. So what does the board want? What does Daniel Levy really want? Cash in, or is he that determined to make something out of the club? I'm cynical about the bloke, always have been. So I think if he gets a good offer, I think he might just do it.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention that this Super League hasn't happened yet either. If we're part of that, that's another couple of billion on top of the the valuation.
Everything is changing. I see the comments, and what people need to understand: money talks. I'm being really honest. Money talks. And the reason why I say this, people say, well, it's so far away for people to travel. It doesn't matter. People travel, like they will set up a schedule where it will be conducive for an NFL team to happen. A perfect example, next year, Copa America, for the second time, is going to be played in the United States. Listen to this. Copa America, a South American tournament, going to be played in America. Why? Because the money, the marketing, it was a huge hit. A Mexican League game, America and Chivas, right? That's like El Clasico, Mexico, was played last night in California at the Rose Bowl. And it was packed, and the money generated. This past April, UEFA president says, I'm possibly looking to have a Champions League games in the United States. I'm telling you, traditions are breaking down. When it comes to money, if people are going to come, if the marketing dollars is going to bring more revenue for the sport, La Liga is already wanting to play games in the United States. Things are changing. I'm sorry, people. Things are changing. Super League is going to come back around. You're already going to have a tournament in 2025, the Club World Cup. But before that, you're going to have 4 teams from South America, from the Copa Libertadores, to play 4 teams for the Champions League of North America. That's almost a mini Super League. People got to read up on these things. These things are happening. And so Daniel Levy, as much as we criticize him, this guy's not stupid when it comes to money and trends. This guy's not stupid. And that's why I said him selling the club, or his shares of the club, even Joe Louis, who now, to be honest with you, from the people I've talked to, he's not going to get the death penalty in regards to these indictments that he has. He's going to, even if he's found guilty, he's going to appeal it to the point that they're not going to spend any more taxpayer money. So, these guys are going to make money. And I'd love to see them go, but if you're in their shoes, why would you give up billions and billions of dollars? Why? Like it's Daniel Levy, right? Money, right? We've seen the spoofs, right? Why would you leave so much money on the table? And it's the same thing with the Super League. It's gonna come back around. It's gonna come back around.
Murray, let me ask something, right? Let me ask something. So you said why. So I'm going to give you a why. I'm just so for the argument, for the sake of debate. By the way, big up to TJ and to William for your memberships, guys. Appreciate it. So you say why. Now, what if Spurs don't win trophies still? They don't keep up what they're doing at the moment, and we kind of end up being that fifth, sixth, sometimes fourth team, the Levy outs will begin again. There's no doubt, right? I've already come out and said all over social media, if Spurs are in a title race come January and Levy doesn't pull the trigger and go for it, I'm full blown Levy out protest the whole shebang. Otherwise, this is pointless, and it's another missed opportunity yet again. So that's my stance. So if that starts again, Mari, why would you want to stay? Deal with all the abuse and the hates and the heckles, because he already said it got to me.
That recent one must have got to him, right?
Well, he said it. He said it in that media that fans forum they did. He said, "Look, it got to me. You know, I'm quite thick-skinned, but it wasn't fair for my family.
His wife had to console him and everything, right?
And I was making decisions because I felt under pressure to get silverware, and so either he's a liar, well, probably is, or he honestly said and opened up that, yeah, you protesters and you Levy out mob, you got to me. Fans' pressure got to me. So if that was to come back, Murray and Coover and JP, if that was to come back, why would you want to stay for that? Hasn't he got to keep Tottenham right up there and do something with it now? Otherwise, is he prepared to go through that again and again and again and again?
I don't know, because I mean, look at this fan base, and yes, you have those who will bark like us, you know, being a Levy out channel whatsoever. But is it really enough? I mean, he goes up to the cheese room, and you have a lot of people there, even now more than ever, you know, because the team is doing good. But yeah, let's just say things go sour. Even then, like, the fans don't show up like to the protest. Like, it's. I'm sure
he sleeps all right at night, right, Murray?
I mean, forget how many people. 1 minute, Murray. Forget how many people went to the protest. He said it got to me. He said it got to me, right?
But look at the Glazers. It got to the Glazers. And still today, they're still the owners of Manchester United, right? They've heard the boos. I mean, much worse than our fan base, right? It will get to them, but how much to a point? Because our boos
because the Glazers don't give a shit. Because the Glazers don't give a shit. Clearly, Levy does. Because he's come out and said, "You lot got to me." So he does care. It bothers him having a bad image. The Glazers couldn't care less what anyone says about them. That's pretty obvious to me. The Glazers are like, whatever, man. Say what you want. I think Levy's a different type of person. I don't think he's like them.
Yeah. If it got to him, it would have got to him a while ago. Once Potts left and this club has gone. I don't know. I mean, I want to believe it said that Levy, if we lose, we'll get to a point of, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. But I find that hard to believe. I'm just really be honest. His ego is so huge. It's almost to a point that I will not leave until, you know,
I say so. I'm not going to leave until I say so.
Until I say so, and I bring a Premier League championship to, like, you know, I want to say that, but I honestly doubt it because of who he is, and I just find it very hard to believe.
Kuva, let me ask Kuva. Right? Kuva, do you agree with Mari? Do you think that he'll still stay even if it all goes south and the fans turn again, or do you think actually we'll break him?
There is another option, and that's because of what's happened in history with ENIC. They haven't just been all about Spurs, have they? They've been different clubs around Europe. There is another option of they just decide to sell up, having made a huge profit, and just go and get their next club. I mean, there's plenty of clubs, even in England, that can do with that kind of investment, long-term projects. I'm looking at the likes of Portsmouth or Birmingham or Sunderland, clubs with big followings who should be in a lot more prolific status than they are, and that could be a next killing for them. Because I mean, look, like I said earlier, they picked up Tottenham for peanuts, now turned it into worth billions. It's a realistic option to sell it on, because we are very enticing to the sheikhs at the moment, or anybody else with those billions to spend that are looking to build basically a sports franchise, isn't it? Not just football, But when we're talking American football and other sports incorporated in it, it's a whole sporting arena we got, and venue for all sorts of things, as we know. So I think they could look at a longer term plan and just start up again. They've got a sort of working blueprint with how to do things now. There are certain places in the world where you could exploit that. Obviously, the Premiership right now is a massive one because it's where all the money is. But with the introduction of the Super League, and let's face it, that's going to happen at some point because sheer money involved. We know this happens. It's a horrible thing that's happened to the sport, but it's also realistic. So there are options for them, and it's a case now of how much do we really buy into what Levy says when he says that he's open to any sort of negotiation that is beneficial to the club, that is in the best interest of it. Who is going to be in those best interests, according to him? Because he obviously thinks he's been doing the right thing for a long time. Difficult to say. I think Murray's got a valid point, but we just don't know for sure, do we? It's when you're dealing with these incredible sums of money, there's got to be a point where anybody will just think, you know what, that's worth it. I'll just take my cut now, and basically make my 2 billion% or whatever he's made, and just move on. It lets somebody else make their money off it, but what? Because he's already done what he needs to. He, like I said, he's got the blueprint to do it again somewhere.
Look, I mean, the Sheik was willing to play 4x the evaluation of Manchester United. 4x. That's 4 times. £8 billion is what he's willing to play cash. If it is true that Enoch isn't taking any money out of this and everything's getting rolled back into the club, the only way that Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy make big money is in an exit strategy. That's it. So if they don't, who would be dumb enough to turn down 4x the value of a company? If somebody came to you right now, Stelios, and said, I'll give you 4 times what your football club is worth, what would you do? You'd turn around and say, where do I sign? Dance your way out of the room and head to Dubai, right? Like, what's going on here?
Wait, like, yes and no, though. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. No, yes and no. No, yes, me, Stelios. Because
when is the club going to be worth 4 times what it's worth today?
Well, 1 minute. No, because I'm Stelios. But if I'm Daniel Levy, I've already made my money. I'm already wealthy. But
Daniel Levy's not that wealthy.
He's a lot richer than me then. Okay.
Yeah, he's a lot richer than you, but he's not worth £8 billion, is he?
Yeah, but he doesn't get that.
He gets 30%. He's not even worth $1 billion yet, right?
All right, let me tell you why there's a no in this. There's a no because how old is he? Levy, 60?
Yeah, something like 65, something maybe.
Right. He's got kids. Right. So if I was 60, I'm already a millionaire and I've got kids, I'd be thinking, do you know what? I could really set them and their kids up if I hold out a bit longer. Because by being an owner of Spurs, I've got access to land development in the area. They bought 75 acres of land. 75 acres. They've got a lot of projects they're planning. And we know he's into the property game. On top of that, like we said, if he does the NFL franchise, he does not only is he making money as this is happening, he then increases what he could earn. So I'm 60.
But you don't have to sell the property. Hold on, this is what I'm talking about. This is the thing. When you go through an exit strategy, you get to organize the deal however you want. Just like how Sir James Ratcliffe or whatever is doing it to where he's buying 25% and he's going to be in charge of the sporting side, right? While the Glazers are still going to be in charge of the merchandising and finance side or whatever, the other parts of the club. All they have to do is just structure the deal to say, yeah, I'll pay you 4 times worth with the football club aspect of the business, the stadium, the football club, right? You guys can therefore keep the hotels, all of this other stuff that's engaged around it that right now, technically and legally, Tottenham Hotspur owns.
So he hasn't sold then, Will. He hasn't sold. He's still there. That's my point.
He has sold because he doesn't own the club part. So right now you have the club, Tottenham Hotspur LLC, or whatever you guys call it in England, limited liability,
LTD.
Right?
LTD. No,
so
PLC's
you've got
public.
that.
LTD.
Underneath that are all of these other independent LTDs, right? That's why they're all set up into their own little business
they're
things,
all
right?
subsidiaries.
So that when you sell one piece, the other aspects are already legal entities that can spin off and be their own thing, right?
He's not going to sell one aspect for Forex, like you said. No way. 4
Yeah,
times.
he
No
would.
chance.
The stadium itself is worth, right, £1 billion, right,
Yeah.
1.5 billion or whatever it's worth, plus the club's revenue and all that stuff. So you're talking at least 2.5 that. So if he can get 8 billion for just the stadium and the club, and gets to keep all of the extra
That's not going to
stuff,
happen. That's not going to happen.
That's what he was willing to do for Manchester United.
Manchester, no. How much is Ratcliffe playing? He's 25%. How much?
1.5. 1.5.
Right.
That's a $4 billion valuation.
But
that's not 8 billion. Hold on. Levy's not getting 8 billion. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen.
No, but he was going to buy out Man United for something like 6 billion. That guy.
No, it was 8. He went up to 8. Their legal evaluation was like 2.4 billion was what the in the United States there's a certain form that once a bank values a company, it's done on a form. But he was willing to do it was basically almost 4 times the evaluation of the thing, right, in cash. And here's another option too. ENIC doesn't have to sell it all. The trust that owns Joe Lewis's shares, all they have to do is sell their 70%, and the Sheikh is now the 70% owner of Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, but we know Joe Lewis is in control of what the trust are doing. We know that he's telling them what to do.
Yeah, but why wouldn't Joe? He's 86.
Yeah, so
he's gonna die unless his kids want to run the football club for the rest of their life. It doesn't matter.
All right, I don't
disagree with that.
I don't. Well, 1 minute. I don't disagree with Joe Lewis setting up. I don't disagree with that. But Levy, you asked, I was saying how I don't think for Levy, it's 100% in his interest. I think it's more in ENIC's interest. I think for Levy,
it doesn't matter.
Levy
is not a primary owner of the club.
No, you're right. It's not to Levy. You're right. It's not. But I'm just saying,
the Sheikh could go to the other because ENIC owns 84%, right? 82% or something like that of Tottenham Hotspur. The Sheikh can go to the other individuals that are members, that are owners. He could buy them out. He can go to Joe Lewis and buy Joe Lewis out. And now Daniel Levy can hold on to his little 30% and refuse to sell. But he has no control of the club now anyway. He's now a minority shareholder and has to do whatever the Sheikh wants him to do. Like, this is how hostile takeovers are done. Yeah. Right? Like, hostile takeovers are a real thing, right?
Yeah, but no, I don't disagree with any of this. My point was, Levy, if it was for him to have a say, I don't think it's in his interest to sell anything now. I think for Levy, forget Joe Lewis and ENIC and the other shareholders, for Levy, I think for him, another 5-10 years, that's the play he's looking at. But whether the owner wants that is a different story. But then again, you don't know because the owner's got kids. Those kids are Spurs fans. And those kids might see this as, hold on, we want to hold out, right? There's so many...
Well, there was talk about his kids taking over or something, wasn't there?
And his kids know how much an NFL franchise is worth. They may say, you know what, we're going to hold off because
But a franchise is a different company. It wouldn't be owned by... Hold on. A franchise is a completely different company. It wouldn't be owned by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, right? It would be its own entity. You have to buy into a franchise, which means you'd have to invest over £1 billion into a company, into it to create a new team, right? Then you have to pay for all the player contracts.
What if the Tottenham Hotspur Group bought that new company? So it comes under
it would
the
be
group,
ENIC that would buy it, right?
Group,
ENIC is the Tottenham Hotspur Group.
Okay, there you go. So it's still under the umbrella. Somehow it's in the family of all these companies.
Yeah, but they could do that anyway. They could do that anyway and lease the stadium from the football club to do this and the other thing.
Company A, company B.
All those photo ops with the commissioner of the NFL and dinners and brunches with them. You don't think that Daniel Levy probably has first dibs on a ENIC group or group ownership if an NFL franchise is ready to start? Wouldn't you think Daniel Levy will have first dibs on a London franchise?
Oh, I don't know if you'd have first dibs. That's not how franchising works. It has to come down to the board of the NFL. They vote on who gets a franchise. It has nothing to do with first dibs.
I know, but you know when people, they start talking.
Daniel Levy's got your internet.
Went to the NBA like, hey, like, so I would think that Joe Louis and Daniel Levy would be, especially Daniel Levy, would have, hey, when you guys are ready for an NFL team, hey, remember us, let us come up with the first offer. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that they'll win the offer, but they will have an advantage. Their stadium is theirs, right? They have a relationship with them, right? So,
but this is all like, what are you talking about? Why couldn't they do that and still sell the football club aspect of it? There is nothing that keeps them from doing that, right? This is what I'm saying. When you sell out a club, think about it from the Sheik's perspective. If he buys Manchester United, he's got to completely rebuild the stadium. He's got to completely rebuild the training ground. He's got to completely do all of these things, right? If he pays, so not only above the £8 billion that he was willing to pay for Manchester United, then he has to go spend an additional, £2 to £3 billion to renovate all of these things. That £2 to £3 billion he doesn't have to spend with Tottenham Hotspur. We already have a brand new stadium. We already have a brand new training ground. We already have all of these facilities and all of this stuff, world class, top class in as far as England. Right?
It's literally just the players, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just boom. And that's a small amount. That's £1 billion on players if you're going to go to the Man City route, right? Their team is worth what? £1 billion. That's it. We've already got £700 million worth of players on the thing. To go in and drop $400 million for a sheik who's got trillions of dollars in his country's wealth fund is a drop in the bucket. A couple $100 million to buy some players, right? We got $400 million worth of FFP that we can play with, right? Just immediately, day one, he could drop £400 million in one summer window and go buy out whoever he wants. Daniel Levy has made Tottenham Hotspur so far, and this is where you can give him props, such a ripe peach, right? For someone with big money to come and buy, that you'd be silly. Why are you going all this up? Because he's not getting rich, according to him. The only money he's making is off his salary as being a chairman, which is a couple £1 million a year.
Will, that said, how long can he survive fans tolerating just that? Praising him for business, praising him for infrastructure, praising him for fixing the mess that he created with Conte, Nuno, not backing.
What I'm saying is,
stretched it for 20 years.
All of that doesn't really matter per se.
Have you ever seen with a customer?
No, but hold on. It's not about the Daniel Levy doesn't care about. Hold on. Daniel Levy doesn't care about the customers. He's been doing this for 20 years, right? 20 plus years.
No, but he does. He said, "You got to me."
He said, "You got to me." Right? He's been doing this for 20 plus years. He's not taking any dividends from the profits or the revenue from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Why would you put in all of this effort to build all of this infrastructure and all of these things if your plan wasn't an exit plan? Because he's not making dividends. He's not. So they're not getting richer by making money off Tottenham Hotspur.
He's earning £3.5 million as
but
salary.
That's nothing. That's
whether it's a dividend or a salary, he's no different. He's making shitloads, Will.
No. That is crackers for Joe Louis. Joe Louis isn't getting paid a salary, is he? The trust isn't getting paid a salary.
Levy's getting paid megabucks.
That's not a lot of money.
£3.5 million.
Yes, you could go do.
Where do you live? Beverly Hills.
You could go own properties in other places and make more money off rent a year than you are making in that salary a year. Fact.
Yeah, but hold on 1 minute. Levy's making money from capital appreciation, right? So he's making money.
Capital appreciation is only money when you sell it.
Yes.
That's my point. There has to be an exit strategy or it's worth nothing.
Yeah, well, no, it's not, because you might want to pass that down as generational wealth. Most people, like I know many people in North London who came over here as migrants, built up property companies. They're sitting on a fortune and they haven't sold a single thing because they've passed it on to the kids. How do we know they're not doing that? This is what I'm saying. This could stay in the Levy family for years.
Perhaps they do. Perhaps they do. That's
But
the bit
Levy
where
only owns 30%. It's not Levy's.
Okay, Joe Lewis has got kids, Will.
Yeah, but
He
those
might do
kids
that.
own Tavistock as well, which is a far bigger company than Tottenham Hotspur that actually makes them hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, but
right?
rich people
To
don't have
sell-
one company in one
Hold on.
sector. They have many companies in
I
many
know
sectors
this.
to hedge their bets.
But when you
Why are you
can
arguing?
sell 70% of a company, 70% of 8 billion is what? So 70% of 80%. 80% of 8 billion is what? 6 billion?
Sorry. People in the
6
comments, right? I'm not stupid. I've got a master's in international securities and investment banking, right? I'm putting the opposite side of the argument. I get what we were saying. All I'm saying is there's another avenue, which is generational wealth. The richest people on the planet, they
Joe
build
Lewis's
wealth.
kids already have generational wealth. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Will, rich people don't stop once they hit 100 million. They say, right, I want 1 billion. When they get to 1 billion, they want 10 billion. When they get to 10 billion, I want to be the first trillionaire.
But you're
That's
not
why they're
listening to
rich.
what
They
I'm
don't
saying.
stop.
Hold on. You're
They don't
not
stop.
listening. Hold on. I know
am.
that.
I disagree with it.
But you
I
take
disagree
that
with
money. No, how you make generational wealth is by rolling. You buy, you sell, you buy, you
There's many
sell, you
ways.
buy, you
There's
sell,
many
you
ways.
buy, you sell, you buy, you sell, you buy, you sell, you buy, you sell, right? That's how you can increase wealth. Because Tottenham Hotspur is only worth anything to Joe Lewis if he sells it. There is no value in it, tangible,
Will?
liquidated value in it until he sells.
No, you're wrong.
Sorry, just
No,
quickly.
I'm not. There is no tangible revenue in property.
Kuba has to go.
Yeah, I'm
was
going to
gonna
have to
say,
drop off
There's
anyway.
no cash.
The finances isn't really my thing, and I've got to do an awful lot of work for tomorrow morning. So
Sorry, Cuba.
love you and leave you anyway. Thanks for the invite anyway. Thought about turning up since you took the trouble to invite yourself.
People,
Take
Bless
it.
you, ma'am. Take it easy.
people in
Bye.
the chat,
There you
the truth. The reason why we're talking about this is because of the London.com article that came out today, and other Spurs channels have talked about it. You know, about Ali Goals bringing up a point that now the Sheikh might be looking at Tottenham. So that's the only reason why we're talking. It's news, so we're talking about it. So we're gonna talk about the upcoming Premier League. We're waiting for some more guests to come, but this is news. So the truth, you know, if you go hold on for a few more minutes, we will definitely talk about it. But it is an important issue because, you know, Ali Go says, you know, they'll be willing to listen. So we're talking about that. I brought up the point that. Okay, go ahead, Will.
I just want to finish my entire argument. So Stefan asked a good question, right? What if they see the club to be worth more in 5 years? How would that be? Right? The only way that this club is worth, the stadium is a depreciating asset. The training ground is a depreciating asset, means it's worth less and less and less and less every single year. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. It's prime London real estate. London goes up and
hold
up
on.
and
This is
value.
what you're not understanding about real estate. Okay, the land is worth what the land is worth. The price of the land only increases in value, right? Yes. When you build a structure onto that land, that appreciates the value of the land, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The structure depreciates in value.
But here
right?
in the UK, you don't buy the structure and not the land. It comes as one. So when you buy the structure, you buy the land. So therefore, the land's going to be valued. Where's it depreciating?
You need to let me finish my statement right before you interrupt, right? So take a house. Hold on. If I own a house and I maintain that house and I keep that house in good condition and property values rise, right? The value of my home increases always, right? Now, if I stop maintaining that and I go live and I go move to, say, Korea, and I leave my house here in Atlanta just sitting. It doesn't have any maintenance. The walls are crumbling in. The roof is crumbling in. But I paid $500,000 for that house. Can I sell it for $500,000? No, you can't. It's a depreciating value because the structure is depreciated. The land value is the same. Yes, it has. I'm sorry. You cannot. If I bought my house, you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I am not wrong. 100%, I am not wrong.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because your home is a liability. Because your home doesn't generate
No, it's
income.
paid off.
let me finish what I'm saying now, right? Most people who buy a home, they have a mortgage, right? And it's a liability because they have to pay for that house through the mortgage and to run it. The house doesn't generate income. They have to go to work to make money to cover the costs. We generate money with our assets, and that money pays off the maintenance and keeping it up to spec and the mortgage. It makes money. It's a commercial piece of property and land.
So why isn't Manchester United? Why isn't Old Trafford worth £2 billion just a stadium?
Because the owners have mismanaged the funds for the assets.
No. I'm talking about the property. Why is the property, since it's been there for how many years now? How old is Old Trafford?
Because
100 years old? 200 years old?
I just told you. Because the owners have mismanaged the funds. The Glazers take dividends out.
Then it's depreciated.
But they've chosen for that to be the case. They've chosen for that. Levy will not let that happen. He maintains our grounds.
You don't know what Levy will do. He maintains it.
Why
did he?
I go to the stadium every week. I see what goes on there. They're maintaining it.
But if our stadium was still the old stadium and someone who came in and had to buy it, they probably would be paying a lot less than they would be now, right?
Exactly.
Surely.
Yeah.
100%. Because the property was improved. That's my whole fucking point.
No, JP, no, not from the initial state, because we kept building that stadium. No, they kept building that stadium. They made it bigger over the years.
Does not matter. White Hart Lane is not worth the same as Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Forget building a stadium in the middle of the desert in Nevada where no one gives a shit. This is London. The value of land in London. No, sorry, Maury, you guys don't know London like I do. I live here. The value of land goes up it doubles in value every 9 years in London.
Doesn't matter. It's about the improvements on the land.
That's part of the buying price.
Look, Stella, you're missing the improvements of the land. The improvement of the land increases the value. Period. You have all of those shops outside. Hold on. Stop for a second. You have all of those houses and restaurants on the high street, right? Right, all the manors or whatever you call those, whatever you guys call the projects that are in that area, the little housing complexes, the estates, right? The estates that are in there, right? The estates have a value that the land is worth. If I buy all of those estates, I tear them all down and build luxury apartments, the property value is now increased 100-fold because I've improved the land. Okay, the land has a value. If what you're saying was true, the estates would cost the same, whether it's a rundown ghetto estate or it's a luxury apartment, because the land is the land in London.
No, the land will. What you've just done there is change the argument completely.
No, that's the argument I was making.
No, it's not. What you're saying is it's not. No, it's not. What you're saying now is if you invest more on the land and the property will be worth more. Obviously, you've built luxury apartments.
That's my point.
That's what I think.
That's not your point.
Yes, it is.
Your point was we own a depreciating asset. No, we don't.
The stadium, the structure depreciates.
If you don't maintain it,
yes,
we do.
If you don't maintain it,
you never said that.
And over time, it's still a depreciating asset. Over time, it depreciates. And unless it's renovated frequently.
Okay. Let me explain this to you. I don't disagree with what you're saying now, but that's what you said.
Why in the first place?
No. In London, the value of the land will surpass any depreciation in property value.
Only if you continually renovate.
No, in London, you don't understand the London housing market or the land. You don't. I do.
Still have to maintain your house, otherwise the value decreases.
No. This is London. It's like New York. It is prime real estate on the planet. It's like gold dust.
Yes. And if you don't maintain and renovate, the property value drops.
No, rubbish. Listen,
it's not rubbish.
I'm not gonna have an argument with someone that doesn't know the London market. I buy property here. I know London. I know my home ground.
Any market, man. Doesn't matter the market.
No, you can't compare Atlanta to London.
I compare Atlanta, New York. I compare London. I compare Shanghai. I compare Seoul.
Dude, everyone in the world wants to come to London and live. Every rich person in the world wants to have some kind of land or asset here. They all do. Most of London is owned by Chinese, Russians,
and
Arabs.
The fact is, if you own land in London and you don't maintain it, the value drops.
No, Will. It's one of the most secure property investments in the world, London land
London's-
prices, right? It's
will
different. So Levy has got prime real estate by being in London. And not just that, by having a commercial business that generates the money, that means he doesn't have to pay out of his own pocket to maintain it. It's not a liability because it cash flows the maintenance. It's a different model to what you're describing. What you're describing is right for maybe 95% of things in the planet. What you said is right, but for Tottenham, no, I disagree. That's my argument.
So you're saying your argument is that if you were to go buy it, that an estate right now would cost you the same as buying a luxury apartment in the same land?
No, the luxury apartment will cost more.
Then you're already discrediting what you're saying. What
No,
I'm
because
saying
that's-
is,
no,
is
no, it's
that
not. That's in the-
that property, hold on,
No,
that
you're not listening to me.
estate
You're
is
not
in a
listening to me.
dilapidated state. Right?
You're not listening to me.
You're not listening to me.
No, I do.
The
I do.
estate
I
is
understood
in a
you.
dilapidated state.
No.
Therefore, the
Will.
value is not as high as it would be if it was in a renovated state.
Will. That example you gave of the apartment and the luxury apartment, that is the 95% of scenarios. Tottenham, what you're describing, is the 5% that doesn't apply to that model. This is a different model. What Levy has got, listen, Levy's not a dumbass. This guy's a property king with Tavistock. They have built a business that self-funds whatever is needed to keep the price up and going up without them having to go to work and get money for the maintenance. This is a cash-flowing, self-sustainable
That's why
business.
they tore down the old stadium and built a new one.
I'll give you a similar example.
Land was worth more if they sold it, Will.
Right now in Orlando.
No, it's worth more if they tore the old stadium down and built another one. They didn't do it to get
The
another
land,
30,000 fans in there. I can tell you that.
the land of the old stadium was worth more than what the old stadium was valued because the land went up from the day they bought it. Fact. That's London prices for you. London's crazy for prices.
The land went up, but the
We do
total
have
package, the
examples.
land
We
plus
do.
the development increases, right? The land is not worth £2 billion, right? The stadium and the land is worth £2 billion, right?
It
What I'm
depends what you
saying
wanna build
is,
on it,
hold
Will.
on,
Depends what you wanna
hold on.
build.
The old stadium is not worth the same amount as the new stadium. Fact.
But the land is worth more.
Okay, but the land is a percentage of the total value of the land and the
But that-
development.
But the land of the old stadium would have outweighed the value of the old stadium. That's what I'm saying. As the land value goes up, yes,
It's because the
building
building
could go
had
down.
been dilapidated. It had gone down in value. That's my
No, it's because
fucking
it's Lon-
point.
No, it's because
The
London land
building.
property.
There
No,
are
I'm right
cases-
on this.
Listen,
You know,
listen,
man.
listen.
You're not right.
There's
You're
a-
wrong.
there's a neighborhood in Orlando called Winter Park, right? This is where all the NBA players, ex-NFL players, even some footballers live, right? And actually, yes, even some soccer stars live in Orlando. Now, because of the area, because it's a location, the most crappiest house, and I've seen it, the most crappiest house is worth millions because of the neighborhood it's in, because it's location. So there is a correlation with land value and what entity, either is a business or a house that's on that neighborhood. Now, from what I've gone to London, from what my mates have told me, that's why people move up to Manchester rather than London. They said London is just too
It's too
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
It's too
Wait, okay, I'm
expensive.
not talking about the property
I get-
of the dirt.
I
I'm
guess
not talking about the
I-
value of the dirt. The
Oh.
value of the dirt. Hold on. The value of the dirt doesn't change. It only goes up as long as there's a demand for real estate in that area, right?
Now, Will is
If
not-
hold on, if
now,
London
Will-
if London became a ghost town, then even the land value would drop because nobody wants to be there. The point that I'm
Yeah,
saying is that the land value, the dirt, the actual earth, right? That goes up in value. But the structure that sits on top of that earth either goes up or goes down depending on the condition that it's in. That's all I'm saying. There is no argument. That is a fact.
to add on to
Doesn't matter what market it's in.
to add to Wilson,
I never disagreed with that.
well, to add on to
That's
what
all I
Will is saying.
said.
No,
I
to
never
add on
disagreed
to,
with that.
well, listen. To add on to what Will is saying,
What I said to you is
You got-
that applies to 95% of scenarios, not Tottenham. That doesn't apply to
100% of scenarios.
Still.
100%.
What Will is saying, I think what Will is saying is,
Yes.
if you, well, listen.
Because it's a business, it generates money to stop that from happening.
Listen,
All commercial properties are businesses.
listen.
But
I
not
think
all
what
cash
Will's
flow the way
saying,
we do to fund the maintenance.
no, Still, if you go
They
and
all
buy,
pay for the maintenance.
if
They don't bring the money, Will.
oh gosh,
Then they're out of business.
Tottenham
Well,
Hotspur
say-
guaranteed income. We can be a shit football team. We'll sell out the stadium. It's
okay,
a guaranteed
last word of this. Last word of this.
Relegated.
It's like going to buy a Rolls Royce, right? A Rolls Royce is worth, let's say, let's just say it's worth 200 mil. Once it leaves the lot, it depreciates. So it's not
Because
worth.
Not talking about
no,
cars.
Murray, no, guys, you're looking at it from a simplistic perspective, right? That's not how it works. If you buy a car, it doesn't generate income. It's a liability. You've bought a liability. Of course, it's going to go down in value. That's why it's a liability, because it costs you to have it. Tottenham Hotspur is not a liability. It's a cash flow generating business. Therefore, it's an asset. Don't compare an asset to a liability. Will's talking about liabilities. We're not a liability.
I'm not talking about liabilities. I'm not talking about liabilities.
If something goes down in value, it's a liability because it costs you money.
I'm talking about the building that's built on the land.
Makes you money, or it's worth money. Tottenham is not what you described. We are Tottenham Hotspur.
If you're a truck driver, your truck is an asset. It makes you money, right?
Only no
matter how. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You haul things with your truck. You're a truck driver. You get paid to haul things with your truck. It makes you far more money than the value of the truck.
No.
Yes, it does. You're you are being so dumb right now.
No, I'm not being dumb.
If I'm a truck driver and I'm not being ignorant. If I'm a truck driver and I own my own truck,
make money off it,
and I deliver things, it makes me money. Far more money than the value of the truck.
Will, you have to go to work for you to fund running that truck.
No, but
running the truck is work.
Driving the truck is work.
Okay, but you can't buy that, JP. Tottenham is a business. You buy that. It comes like that. So you can't say to me it goes down in value. No, you don't. You need it's an individual person. You're using a different model. I get what you're saying there, Will. I understand what you're saying. You can't compare that to Spurs. Spurs is a different type of model. Levy has said it himself. We are self-sustainable. We are sticking to this model.
Yes.
There's a reason he does it that way.
So is the truck driver. Self-sustainable. It pays for its gas. It pays for the maintenance on the truck. And when the truck dilapidates, he buys a new truck.
Will.
Their car is their business.
I get what you're saying, right? I'm not disagreeing with the initial thing you said, other than we are a depreciating asset, right? What my point to you is, that model applies in general for 95% of things. But there is a small percentage where it's different to that.
No,
Tottenham is that.
It's made of matter.
It's not, because you
in 100 years. So you're telling me, hold on. In 100 years, you're telling me that the building is going to be worth, right, the same as what it was worth now. The building, not the land, the building.
No, but they're not mutual, Will. You don't just buy the building. You have to buy the land to buy the building. It's not
the land will increase in value, but the building, the value of the building.
Exactly, you just said it. The land will increase in value. That's my point. They're not.
I already said the land increases in value. I'm talking about
how is it a depreciating asset?
The actual structure.
The structure dilapidates over time.
There is no structure without the land. They're not mutually exclusive. You're
okay. It still has a value because of the land, but the value of the actual structure depreciates
because of the land.
That's all I'm saying. This is not a difficult concept.
It's not difficult for you to also understand that the value of the stadium going down is offset by the value of the land going up. So therefore, it's not a depreciating asset. Yes, in London it is. You're doing it again. You don't understand London, man. You don't get it. London is insane.
Okay, how much did the value?
A shitty house. Will, you can buy a shitty house in an area near Tottenham, right? Edmonton, and Edmonton's regarded as a low-grade zip code, postcode near Tottenham, right? You could go buy a house there, don't maintain it, rough area, gun crime, knife crime, like no one wants to touch it. But guess what? It will still go up because the land in London just keeps going up and up. That shitty house, although, oh my God, we need to knock it down, we need to rebuild it, we renovate, but to buy it, to do that job, it will cost you more. That is London, my friends. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. But it's going in one ear out the other.
Because you're not understanding what I'm saying. Hold on. Let me.
I do. You're trying to separate building from land.
I can make
They're
this
not
real easy.
exclusive.
I can make this real easy. What I'm saying is that over time, because the value that it raises, the percentile in which it ranges, think of it as a hockey stick, a graph, right? A gradual flow, right? The percentage, as the building, the structure that is on that land that is increasing in value year after year after year, as long as the demand for that particular area is the same, right? The value that increases, okay, the first year it goes up and it's this percentile, right? Because the value of the house is still a nice house. And the next year, but as that house gets older, the amount that it goes up decreases every single year. It still goes up, but the amount that it increases. Why? Because the house is older. A 22-year-old house is not the same increase in value, percentage increase annually as a new construction is. A renovated house goes up. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not.
That's the argument I'm making. You are going off on some weird argument that I'm not making.
No, now you're saying the percentage of the increase is decreasing.
Why is the percentage of increase? Okay, Stelios, if it increases at a new construction, say it increases 85% annually.
I never argued this.
Hold on. If it increases 85%, stop. If it increases at 85% off of a new construction, right? 20 years down the road, it only increases 20% annually. Why?
I don't know, because I wasn't arguing that. You've changed
because
your
the structure has depreciated in its value.
No, Will. You changed the argument.
I have not changed the argument.
You said at the beginning, calm down. You said at the beginning.
No, because you are the one who's saying I'm wrong when I'm not.
Will,
why would I calm down when I've been saying this since the very beginning?
Don't calm down. You said at the beginning that it's a depreciating
the stadium depreciates. The stadium. Not the land, not the property, the stadium, the building, the structure made of nails and hammer and glass and steel.
And plastic and glass and
plastic. Yeah.
It means nothing without the land. It means nothing without the land. It means nothing without the land.
So
nothing without the land.
Understanding. So just to understand, in most things in life, when something new becomes a day old, they depreciate. In London, it's different. It doesn't depreciate. It increases and increases and increases. It never gets to a point of depreciation. Is that what you're telling me?
Murray, every 9 years in London, for God knows how many years, we're going back decades and decades and decades and decades, the average price of property has gone up. It has doubled every 9 years. Now, sometimes it might not double, it might be a bit less.
Is it due to the land or is it due to the structure?
It's because it's London, so it's the land. You're buying in London.
Okay. But I mean, I believe, like I said,
you would pay more, right?
Huh?
If the building on that land was better, you would pay more.
100%.
Of course, it's a better building.
That's my point.
Let's disagree with that.
That's my fucking point, Stelios.
Yes,
it is.
No. But I never disagreed that.
Stadium's new now. You're paying higher value. You get a better increase in the value now after the renovation than you will in 20 years, than you will in 40 years, than you will in 80 years. The percentage of profit is better right now as it's new than when it's 80 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, at the beginning, you said.
At the beginning, that's what I said. You misunderstood it.
No, you never. No, you never.
Me.
No. I'm not having this. You said at the beginning.
Go back and watch the tape.
No, I don't need to because I know what you said. You said at the beginning, it's a depreciating asset.
The stadium. Yes.
Let me finish. You said it's a depreciating asset. The stadium.
Yes.
And my argument is, no, it's not. Because what you're doing is you're doing something that's impossible. You are separating the building from the land. You can't do that. You can't do that. They're not mutually exclusive. They
are mutually exclusive.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Nobody can buy the stadium without owning the land. You can't do that.
Yes, you can. It's called leasing.
No, you can't. That's not buying. That's a lease. That's why I said buying.
Triple
Right?
net lease is the same thing as owning.
Let me finish what I'm saying, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody can buy, purchase, own, take over completely. Not lease, not hire. No one can buy the stadium without buying the land. And because of that, it's not mutually exclusive. You create a situation which is not
Can
possible.
you buy land that has no structure on it?
Can you buy land with no structure? Yes, you can. You can buy the land.
So then it's mutually exclusive.
No, it's not, because you have the rights to build on it.
If someone tore down the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, could they buy just the land?
You'd buy whatever's on top of the land as well. So the rubble.
If they tore it down, cleaned off all the rubble, and it now became a dirt lot in the middle of North London, could you buy that lot, that land?
Yes.
Okay, then it's mutually exclusive.
No, it's not, because you can build on it, Will.
Yeah, you can build on it. You can build on it now. A person who bought it can tear the stadium down and build apartment complexes if they wanted to.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they're mutually exclusive.
No, you're trying to get out of it. You're trying to get out of it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. This is what you do, Will. When rarely do I win a debate with you. Very rarely do I win. But when I do get it, you're not going to get out of this one.
You haven't gotten it. You've lost.
We're friends. We're friends, right? I'm not going to leave you out.
We are friends. You have lost.
You cannot, because I know how much you like debating. I'm not someone that can debate you all the time and win. But on this one, I'm right. You cannot separate the property and the land and say they're mutually exclusive. You can't do that.
Land is land, structures are structures. If there's a structure on the land, you get both when you buy the land.
Saba, welcome to a shit show. Great timing.
How is everyone?
Having a blast,
Arguing about do buildings, not the land in which they sit on, but do buildings get older with time? That's what we're arguing about.
Bye, Saba. Bye.
See you later. Been good. Enjoyed it.
Cooper already left. Cooper already left.
Cooper took the ticket, man.
Listen, perfect time to change subject.
Never said he's not selling the stadium. I mean, selling the stadium.
We're changing the subject. Will and I disagree, right? We're changing the subject.
Mari,
so, Sava,
you started this.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, good.
I don't disagree with Stell at all. He just is not listening to what I'm saying.
No, I'm not going there. I'm done. Let's say hello to Sava. Sava,
hello, Sava. How are you?
Good. Just been having a debate on why Virgil van Dijk's not the greatest centre-half that's ever played the game of football. Other than that, yeah, all good.
Well, you'll be glad to know the next subject we're going to discuss, right? So, at the start of the show, I said we'll wait for Sava to come before we have this conversation. So, what I wanted to ask everyone is this. The last 2-3 weeks, we've seen a lot of non-Spurs channels. We're not mentioning names. But if you want to know who they are, you can go on the Tottenham Away X page and you'll see. But they've been quite derogatory towards Spurs. We're a flash in the pan. Everyone and anyone's jumped in it, whether it's big YouTubers, small YouTubers, media, non-media. It just seems to be that Spurs, everyone wants to have some kind of negative dig at us. Very few want to put a positive spin on it. Whatever. Everyone's allowed their opinion. But the question I wanted to ask is this. Is this because Spurs fans have overhyped Spurs and they just want to put us back in our place? Is it because actually Spurs are doing well and people fear the fact that Spurs possibly might actually become good at some point and they don't want that, so they're trying to just knock us now? Or is it just delusion and hate because we're Tottenham? I just wanted to have a conversation about it because so much is being said from non-Spurs channels about Spurs. It's like every week someone somewhere's got something to say about us. Like with the talk, with the non-stop in the top 2-3 topics on every show you watch now. So, Sava, you can tackle this first because I know you've got plenty to say about this stuff. So off you go.
I think it's a mixture, right? I think the difficulty is I kind of agree with them, right? If I'm honest, I think the problem is every time Spurs have a good moment, right? Like we have a good 8 to 10 games, or we have a good manager that comes in and we're good for a year. We have fans that just blow it so out of proportion that it is annoying. Let's be brutally honest. It's annoying right? I get annoyed right now. The number of channels I'm watching telling me that Spurs are winning a title. We're in a title race after 8 games, and everyone forgetting that we're one centre-back injury away from Eric Dyer playing again for 6 months. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I think it's a lot of our own fans doing. I think it's also that they've seen this before. We've seen this before. They've seen this before. And I think what a lot of fans need to see, as well as our own fans, is that this isn't a flash in the pan. You know, it is 8 games. And I know people don't like that, right? People don't want that kind of down-to-earth narrative. They just want, oh, my God, jump on this train. Don't know if I need to jump on a train, right? I love the manager. I've got no problem with that. But are we this top team that are going to fight for trophies? Has everything changed like that from Spurs are an utter mess in May to we're winning a title by September, October? I don't think so. So I think they need to see that this isn't a flash in the pan still. I want to see that this isn't a flash in the pan, because what I would say is I spent all last year going onto channels with Arsenal fans and that, telling them, "Hey, you're not winning the league. You're not winning the league. But we're top. We're top. We're still top. We're top. We're top. You're not winning the league. It's 38 games." Now, after 8 games, got Spurs fans getting way too carried away. And that's fine. Everyone's on their own path. We're all on our own journey. Everyone can get hyped up. But I'm old and ugly enough that I've been here. I've seen this under Yol. I've seen this under Poch. I've seen this under Redknapp. I've seen this under Jose for a little bit. I'll wait and see what happens in the long run. Because
it's another dawn, isn't it?
Yeah. All this hype, JP, all this hype. And then I wake up and see Spurs back in for Lloyd Kelly. And you go, oh, like, okay, right. Okay, cool. We're doing that. So, look, it is what it is. I know people don't want, they don't like reality. And already I can see in the chat I'm being called negative. That's fine. But we've been here before. We've been here before. So I need to see that this is sustainable. And I want to see how we cope when we get a couple of injuries and when we have 7 games in December. So, it's all very positive, but I understand why other fans get annoyed with us. To answer
is Ange Postecoglou possibly to blame if that's your view, Sava? Because he did say to the fans, "Yeah, look, get carried away. Do what you got to do. Your fans." Has he encouraged this?
Look, I mean, he's trying to bring the good times back, right? I get it, right? He knows that we've all been for a number of years, right? No matter what your thoughts are on Nuno, on Jose, on Conte, at the end of Poch's era, it's not been good for even from before the Champions League final, right? It's not been good. And yeah, I mean, a manager's telling everyone, yeah, just go over the top. That's fine. But then when it doesn't result in the title that people want it to result in, when it doesn't result in Spurs winning everything, when it doesn't result in, when it inevitably results in us not buying what we need to compete if we are still in the top 2 or 3 come January, I think then people need to just take a little step back and ask themselves why. So feet on the ground, I'm really positive about what I'm seeing, but sorry if this makes me negative, it's 8 games. Yeah, I'll believe this when we do this over an entire season. And then when we do it next season, when we have a summer window where we're not buying free transfers and players every time that are coming to the end of their contracts, when we actually go out and go, that's a top player we want. He's got 5 years left on his contract. Boom, we'll take him. That's all I want to see.
I think a lot of, with our fan base, because it's tough because you want to enjoy the 8 games, but we've forgotten our objectives. And I would say my objective, right? If you told me in the beginning of the season that we would be at top of the league after 8 games, I would have told you, what are you smoking? And pass it along. But I think people forgot their objectives. Like for me, it was we finished 7th or 8th. But the most important thing is we have an identity. We have a plan. We have a DNA. And because we're at top of the table, I think people have forgotten that. And so that's why some Spurs fans are overzealous because in the beginning of the year, they would have said what I've said. I just want to see a DNA. I just want to see, I don't care where we finish. I want to see where we're going, right? Even if we finish 8th or 9th, I want to see where the team is going. So because of that overzealous, right, opposing fans are like, oh my goodness, these people, they're going crazy. They're going to win the league. They're going to finish second, whatsoever. So they look at that. Now, there is a percentage that will say, because they hate us, they will always crap on us. And we know that. They will always crap on us, joke about us, about winning the trophy. But in regards to our overzealous fans, I think they have forgotten the original objective, which for me was, hey, we'll finish 7th or 8th or 9th, as long as we have an identity, as long as we know.
But surely that can't be the expectation now, though, right?
Well,
Finishing
no,
7th or 8th is not the objective now.
Because we've over exceeded those expectations, but also too, we don't have injuries. The breaks have gone well in our favor. If those breaks start to crumble, right, we start getting injuries whatsoever, at least I can say I'm content. I know the type of football we're going to play, because that was my objective from the beginning of the year. So let's just say by February, we're
Murray, sorry to interrupt, right? Hasn't Will got a point though? Because the last match of the day, before the international break, the BBC pulled up a chart that the last 28 teams in the Premier League who got to 20 points at this stage, 2 of them went on to win the league.
11 went on to win the league.
11.
26 finished. Sorry, 11 went on to win the league.
And all but 2 finished top 4.
Yeah. So isn't the expectation now is really, if we're going to go
top
by
4.
all the previous records, we should be top 4.
My only rebuttal
I don't
to
think
that
you can
is-
just project that, though, can you?
My only rebuttal to that is,
You have to expect it, though, I think.
yeah, yes, that's the expected outcome, but this is Spurs. We've done a lot of firsts. So it's a possibility that we could be the first team.
Well, there's always a possibility. There's a possibility we could get relegated, right? If we don't win another game from now until the rest of the season, we finish the season on 20 points. Right?
But we're talking about expectations that we think are realistic,
Right,
though, right?
But realistic would be if 93% of teams that have gotten as far as we have this season end up finishing in the top 4. That has to be a reasonable expectation, right? I mean, that's 93%. That's a pretty dang high percentage.
I will say this: I believe more now after the 8 games that what was far-fetched, 4th, 5th place, top 4 was far-fetched. Now I believe a little bit more, because I'm like, wow, we really found our DNA sooner than I expected. But I still, like I said, my objective is still, okay, the number 1 objective was finding an identity, finding a team that I can have hope in, because around May, you guys saw me, I was depressed and I hated my club. Now I'm hopeful, and they already exceeded how I was feeling in May. So, and as the season goes on, let's just say we're still in the top 3, say February, March, then I'm like, you know what? Okay, this is really into something. We can really finish top 4. But right now, 8 games, though it's good, it's still kind of too early for me.
Murray, if you don't believe, okay, listen, your argument's not an unfair one to have, but if you don't think Spurs can realistically finish top 4 even after 8 games, who's finishing above us? So Man City, Arsenal, 100%. Okay, we get that. Which other 2 teams are finishing above Spurs then, in your view?
Today,
Liverpool.
Liverpool, I will put definitely up there. I have changed my stance with United now. Chelsea, I think, like I said, if we don't have any injuries, I think we're still better than Chelsea. Though I think Chelsea's going to come back. But they're
Murray, who's finishing above us? Who's finishing above us?
Okay.
We're doing a whistle-stop tour of every team in the top half of the table now.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
City.
See, the fact you can't answer it, but isn't the fact that you can't answer it?
If you're looking at all the teams over the past 8 games, Tottenham has to be the favorite right now for finishing in the top 4. Has to be.
If I'm a betting man, I have City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Hey, he said,
know what?
It's like, that's broken.
Can I answer still? Can I come at it from a different angle?
Like I said, I'm not 100% definite because, like I said, it's a long season. I would say all right, fourth. I would say fourth right now because Newcastle.
There you go.
Yeah.
Can I come at that from a different angle?
Sarah, sorry, just like 2 seconds. So, Will, I understand the expectation, right, in terms of where we are right now and how we should finish, but we also have to be slightly realistic in terms of we know we're only one injury at the back away from Dyer and that lot coming back. Bissouma's out for a couple of games now, or at least one game. Sounds like Papasar's out for a bit. Midfield's kind of a bit of an issue if Maddison gets like injured, right? So continuing like that, and I know we've only got one game, but with that on the peripheral, would that not also mean that it's possibly not going to happen? It's not going to be not necessarily 100% that just because we've got 20 points in 8 games and the majority of teams finish in the top 4.
Nothing's ever 100%. And the point gap between, like, say, us and 10th right now is what? 8 points? Right? So, I mean, it's not a huge, that's what, 3 games? Right?
3 wins, yeah.
So 3 losses in a row for us, 3 wins in a row for Manchester United, and they're already above us in the table, right? But what I'm saying is when you're talking about probabilities over the remaining next 30 games, right, we are going to win some of those, right? We're not going to lose them all, right? Manchester United are going to lose some of those. So unless the 3 closest teams right now are Aston Villa, Brighton, and West Ham, right? So I don't really think any of those people have a historical, over the last 20 years of finishing well, or finishing high in the league.
They're all in Europe, those teams.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We have benefits. Look, I'm not saying it's not possible for us to not finish in the top 4. I just think as fans right now, right, that as the season goes and we continue, we've got, like, say we've got Fulham, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and Wolves, right, in our next 4 games. If we win 3 of those,
winnable,
right? If we win 3 of those, now we're going into the November window. And we're on what, 30-something, 34 points, 32 points, right? And then you're getting into December, and then look, I'm not saying we're going to win the league. I don't think we'll win the league right now. I think the league is Manchester City's until it's not, right? Until another team puts up the points capable of taking down that behemoth into City, the league is theirs. I think Liverpool for me is my title challenger. I think Liverpool is the team that's going to be challenging City week in and week out. I think that 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot right now are up for grabs, and the 2 teams that are right now in the best position to get that 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot are Tottenham and Arsenal. So whichever way you want to swap either one of those,
dice that up.
Is just depends on injuries and what we do in January and what we do, all of those things. That's where I'm at right now. I don't think that we're a tighter challenger in the fact that we have a realistic expectation to win it, but I think that we have performed well enough, and as long as performances don't drop off into the tank, I just don't accept the argument that we're Tottenham, because that just means that we never win. What's the point of even being? I might as well stop being a Tottenham fan, because there's never going to be a time, because we're Tottenham, that we'll be able to challenge for the league. There has to be at some point where some change can, in fact,
history
affect
changes,
the future.
right?
Yeah, it's like the farmer and the chicken, analogy, right? The chicken is born, he comes out, he thinks the farmer's his best friend, he feeds him every single day. Then he grows up, the farmer cuts his head off and eats him for dinner, right? Like, at some point, the expectation of history changes, right?
Yeah.
Look, can I...
Quick, Trevor, I'll come to you straight after the super chat.
Go on, mate. You're right. Go on.
Matt Coppin, big up, says, Stel, as I said to you before, let's keep ticking off each game. We just ignore the noise, play our matches, and keep going. Spot on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Sava, you wanted to come at it from a different angle.
Yeah, no. Listen, I don't disagree with Will. For me, I think the title is Man City's. I think then it's going to be a toss-up between Liverpool and Arsenal. I think that's going to be a really close race between those 2. And then I think 4th through to 8th, 9th, I think could be really tight. You have got Brighton, Villa. I do think Newcastle have got a very good squad as well. I think they'll be in there. I can't imagine that Chelsea are going to stay where they are. They look like they're going to work their way up the table. Have they got enough to get 4th? I don't know this season. But I think we're whether we get it or not is down to us. I know that sounds really silly and obvious, but it's going to be down to us. It's going to be down to what do we do. And what I mean by that is for me, we are a James Maddison injury away from having no creativity in the entire team again. We've got a formation that very heavily relies on James Maddison creating for everybody. We've got a formation that heavily relies on Van de Ven and Romero's partnership at the back. So I think if we're smart, if we can keep those players fit, it's all ifs, right? Everything we're talking about now is ifs because there's 90 points to play for. But if we can keep everyone fit and if we can play one game a week and if we can, beat all the teams around us we're meant to, then why can't we get top 4? There's no reason we can't. My biggest fear is going to be when we get to January, what do the owners do? And I've seen already today people starting to big up signings like Lloyd Kelly, bigging up, what about this player coming and that player coming in? It's all a little bit like, okay, he's all right, but I want to know if
not
we're
what
there
you
or
want.
thereabouts. Yeah. Well, but listen, it's not why
Kind
we
of like
move
when you want to
stadiums.
kick on. When you want to
Right.
kick on, you want to kick on properly, not like with a
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Look, we've all seen this, right? We saw under Pochettino when we didn't kick on. We've seen under Harry Redknapp, I think we were like 3 points maybe off the top. Somebody might correct me on that. Going into that January window, and he bought, we all remember, was it Nelson and Saha? We've seen it with Jose Mourinho when he was top going into December, and then our summer signings were our January signings were was it Bergwijn or something like that? Like, do you know what I mean? It was just a bit like we don't really do what we need to do to get over the line. I'm hoping it changes. But fourth, there's no reason why we can't get it. There isn't a reason why we can't get it. But I don't think it's case closed. I do worry for how paper thin our quality is, not our depth. We've got depth, but the quality of that depth for me is really, really thin.
I think it's a
Really
good test. I think the first game coming back from the international break is going to be a good test, right? We won't have Basuma in the midfield. It's going to be Højbjerg slotting in there, right? This is Fulham is a team that Arsenal struggled to beat.
Apparently, Pape Sarr went off injured tonight as well.
No, he didn't. Actually, I looked. He came off in the 69th minute, but SofaScore says he was just subbed off. It wasn't an injury.
Okay, good.
But you have no, I've lost my train of thought. You have what was I saying?
You're saying it's a good test.
It's a good test because
coming back,
you got Basuma coming off. So will Postecoglou be able to, without that Basuma, the guy that we can all agree has pretty much been dictating the pace that we've been playing at over the first 8 games, and we've seen us struggle when he comes off of games. Luton is a prime example. If we can still go and get a win there, even though Arsenal, who's supposed to be the main title challenger, struggled to beat a 10-man Fulham at home. If we do, I think that shows something, doesn't it? Because Fulham's not playing poor football. They're been a pretty, I wouldn't say a great team, but their midfield can hurt people right now, right? So I don't know. I think it'll be a good if we get through the Fulham game and we actually win and we win somewhat convincingly. Because I still think that we haven't been playing great. I agree with Sava that over the last 2 to 3 games, it's been pretty sketchy. It still looks to me like the team is trying to learn the system. And when they do it, you get the first half of Luton. And when they don't, you get the second half of Luton. That's where we're at right now. So I think we have an extra gear or two as far as the system is concerned that we can still roll into. And if we get it, and if we're already at 20 points and top of the table in the shaky part of the season, what does the good part look like? I mean, that's
Will, can I tell you one of the things that I worry about is already we're seeing now, because of little knocks to Maddison and to Son, that they're coming off after like 75 minutes in games. And for me, even if we're not playing that great when they're on the pitch at that moment in time, when they come off, straight away you lose your goal scorer and your creativity. That for me is going to be the biggest test, is that we are one knock away. At the moment, it's a knock. If it gets anything a bit more serious, we're one sunny injury away from. I don't want to call him a footballer. He's that bad. From Richarlison playing every game up front, and I don't think we've got anyone that can play the James Maddison role. I know people want to start trying to shoehorn players in, but he's different. He's different class from everyone else. That's my worry. It's not the 11. I think if you can bubble wrap this 11, I think we're fine. I think when we're going to struggle, though, is in December, where we go from playing once every 8 to 10 days, which we are at the moment, and we play once every 3 or 4 days. That's where I think we're going to start seeing it catch up with us, for me. That's why I don't get too carried away. If we get to January, right? You get to January, we've navigated that 7 games in December. We're within 3 or 4 points of City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Cool. Daniel Levy, it's over to you, mate. But
yeah, and I only expect 2 players in January. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've signed like 2 players every January-ish, right? With some loans and an actual purchase or 2 purchases or some type of loan in a purchase, weird deal like the Bentancur Kulusevski deal. Or, I mean, granted, last season it was Danjuma, but I think Porro also came in that, which was a decent signing. But so for me, I expect 2 players, and if those 2 players are in the right position, especially the key ones where we are, I would say, impact the performance on the weekend the most, right? And Postecoglou, and even if they're not big names, even if they're just the guy that Postecoglou wants, even if it's a Matt O'Reilly from Celtic or something, right? Like, you know, if we're getting those players, I think we'll be okay. Because, I mean, right now we are struggling. I mean, Bentancur will be back by then. Hopefully he comes back playing like he played. That'll be a help. That improves us a little bit. Hopefully, you know, Perisic and Solomon look like they're pretty much done until, you know, until summer or spring anyway. So I think that left winger position is something, because Richarlison can't do it, right? I mean, 4 big chances in 2 games he's missed from that left wing, and we can't continue to play like that.
Can I shoot something, right? So I put a comment out on socials the other day saying, if, and this is, everyone lost their minds because they didn't read the word if Spurs are in a title race come January, right? Meaning hypothetical, maybe, right? If we are, then if Levy doesn't pull the trigger and go for it, I'm full-blown Levy out. I'm doing the protesting, the banners. I don't give a shit. Because what's the point of this? What's the point if an opportunity presents itself, somehow we've fallen into this scenario that you don't go for it? Then to me, it's just, this is Poch all over again. It's Conte all over again. It's Mourinho all over again. It's Redknapp all over again. Get close and then just sabotage. So I've set my stall out. I'm ready to protest and do all the toxic online stuff all over again. If we're in that situation, right? Big if. Right. Let's say that moment does come and we sign. So again, a big hypothetical, which is probably a waste of time because it's not happened. But if we are 3, 4, 6, 7 points off of first, beginning of January, and Spurs go and buy Ivan Toney, a really good creative midfielder, doesn't have to be 60, 70 million, but someone 30, 35 million who actually we all sit back and say, oh, well, didn't see that coming. That's exciting. And another defensive player where we all say that's good cover. That's actually decent cover. If we go and do that, would your expectations of just top 4 to a title push, but probably fall short because we're still not City, but would your expectations at that point change? Actually, you know what? You might have a chance. Or are you just, doesn't matter what we do this season, it's just forget it.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know who those players are, right? And for me, it doesn't even matter. I'm in the point now where I want to see let's say they're good put his money where his mouth is, right? Like he sat on that stage right next to Daniel Levy and said, I won't bring anybody into this team who I don't want, right? Yeah. So he's got to live up to that now. So he's going to be responsible for that now. And if he makes the good decisions in January, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And if he falls short, it's on him now, because he's the one who's put his neck out there saying that, right? It's his team. He made those the summer signings were his guys, right? And look, it's going to be hard. And who do we get? I mean, because only because of the fact that Rodri's been out for 3 games on a suspension. I think James Maddison has been the most impactful player in the league so far this season. And who are you gonna go get for £30 million that's gonna be able to replace him if he goes missing for 8 weeks? Nobody. The way he's playing now, nobody. There's nobody for £30 million I can think of right now who could come in and play at the level that Madison's been playing over the last 8 games.
What does everyone else
in
think?
the world?
Yeah, you're probably not going to get it.
If that January hypothetical happens and Spurs go and sign 3, 1 wow signing and like Tony, and 2, do you know what? That's
I think
really
also in January aren't those tournaments up where Basuma and Sun go away.
Basuma,
that January?
Son, yeah.
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 Around-
So
But we'll have Bentancur, so the SAR one doesn't hurt as bad. And if you have Madison, Bentancur, and Højbjerg in there for a couple of weeks, I don't think it's going to be horrible.
Basuma and Sun, really, isn't it? Basuma
Yeah,
and
it's
Sun.
the Sun one. Basuma should be back quickly. I don't think his particular team ever really gets that far in the competition, so he should only miss 1 to 2 games, or 2 games for the group stages. I don't think he'll get into the final Aero because there is a long break this January, right? Sun will probably be there until the end of the middle of February. He's probably not going to be available. So
just so you know,
Brendan Johnson set up.
It'll be interesting to see who this. Yeah, go on.
Just so you know, the games they will miss will be Spurs, Brentford at our ground, and
Man United,
Everton away. No, Everton away.
Man United's in there too.
Man United's the second week of January. They don't all miss it.
Right. Okay.
For me, I want to see. I want to see like a Santiago Jimenez. I want to see someone like that. I want to see somebody that can. We can't just rely on Sonny to score goals. We simply can't. And at the moment, listen, I get stick for this. If you can imagine, guys, me getting stick on YouTube, right?
No,
I get stick for this. I know, man. I know it's unbelievable. I know. I keep getting stick because I've actually said for everything that's happened this season, I'm not someone who thinks that we've been brilliant. I think like we've had some really good games for sure. But I do think there's been a lot of games in there where we've ground out results, which isn't a bad thing for everyone as a go. It's not a bad thing. But for me, it's not sustainable. And we are right at the beginning of a journey, and I acknowledge that. But I am someone that is very much of the opinion that other than Son in that front three, I don't think we're scary. If I'm brutal, I don't think it's a scary
no threat,
front
is
three. No, absolutely. I think we've got players that every now and then pop up and do something. But I keep saying, if I was a fullback playing against Tottenham, I'd be comfortable. If I'm a fullback playing against either Richarlison or Kulu, I think I'm quite comfortable with it. Whereas you look at some of our competitors when they're playing, you look at Saka and Martinelli, right? You look at Diaz and Salah. Yeah, Man City, whichever one of the Man Cities they want to put out there. Then you look at our front three other than Son. That's where I think we need a goal scorer. And for me, Santiago Jimenez would be someone that I look to bring in January before somebody else goes and gets this guy who's a goal scorer. But I'm also sorry, go on.
No, I agree with you, and I think Brendan Johnson unfortunately got hurt pretty quick. He's
the unknown, isn't he?
Yeah, he's unknown. Can he? I don't think he's going to be he's not going to get anywhere close to 15 league goals this season. I don't think, just from looking at him as a player.
No,
but can he get 8? Can James Madison start stepping up and putting the ball back in the back of the net because his goals have kind of dried up over the last few games? Does that have to do with his knee injuries, that he's kind of the nagging knee injuries that he's got? Does Bentancur come in and some of the balls that Sar's putting over the bar, Bentancur put in the back of the net? I mean, I agree that Richarlison obviously is a lost cause. Like I don't understand how there can be any Spurs fan that has any sense of football whatsoever that rates Richarlison.
Crap, it's unbelievable.
I mean,
I hate people. I can't stand the defense of Richarlison. It's shocking.
As old as Son is, if those 4 chances in the last 2 games that fell to Richarlison fell to Heung-min Son on that left-hand side, he's putting those in the back of the net. We all know that.
Well, if it fell past centre-backs, they're scoring it. Our centre-backs are scoring those goals.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bad.
I'm interested to see as well. So you brought up Brendan Johnson there for me as well. So far, I'd like to see Brendan Johnson on that right-hand side to give us something different. I think my criticism at the moment is that when Sonny's on form, and I think that the way we play is brilliant for Sonny when we play against teams like Burnley, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think it will be the same when we when we play those teams. I don't think the team have figured out how to get Son into a game yet when we play against a low block. And I think that the only way to beat those low blocks is I think you need some pace around the outside. You need to stretch the pitch. And so far, what I've been seeing is with Richarlison, with Kulu, I think we're very predictable down the line. I think we're really predictable. So I'd love to see Brendan Johnson play on that right-hand side and beating his man and trying to whip some balls into Sonny.
I'd
this
rather
is the
have
thing.
Kulu than Richarlison at the
No one.
moment.
Yeah. But this is
Nowhere's a mannequin.
This is the thing, Will. As I said, I feel like we spent a whole summer buying. You think we bought 3 wingers in the summer, right? We bought Kulu, Solomon, and Brennan Johnson. You've already got Richarlison there. Sonny, we'll leave out this conversation because we know this guy's going to score goals. He scored hundreds of them. I still feel that for everyone we've bought up top, I still don't feel there's a massive threat. And now you're hearing lots of noise about he really likes Brian Hill. And is Brian Hill going to come in and be on that left-hand side? And is his link-up play going to be better for this system? But
I doubt it. I hope so. I doubt it.
But none of them fill me with, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? None of them fill me with
excitement.
Okay, take the Liverpool game, for example, right? We won, right? We all know we won, and we know that the game was shrouded in this controversy. But when Liverpool attacked in that first half, right, when they had 11 men and even 10 men, that is how you attack. When you saw the forward players they've got, Diaz and Salah running at people, that for me showed, when people are saying, why don't I think we're in a title race? It showed our level was there. Their level is somewhere up here. Now, I know they're further down the line than us, but that's what I think we need to do. We need to get some, and I know this sounds easy. It sounds a lot easier than it is to do. We need a Diaz for some pace. We need a Jota. We need a Mo Salah. We need something different in that forward line to complement Son. Because at the moment, I think he's doing it all himself.
Sava, just to counter what you said, would you not say, though, defensively, Basuma, Van de Ven, Romero, Udogie right now, we're better than Liverpool on that side of the game, though?
And playing open, right? Obviously, when Liverpool went down to 9 men and they put 8 men in the box, they did really well. But I'm saying, when they're open and they're coming forward, they've conceded far more chances than we have, right?
Yeah, they have. I mean, I think the worrying thing was, though, when Liverpool went in form, like against us before the sendings off and before that, Liverpool created a lot of chances. And there were 2 or 3 times where the worrying thing for me, and again, this is why if I say anything about our centre-backs, people go mad at me. But again, players had 4 or 5 seconds to get the ball in the box, turn, swivel, have a shot. It happened 2 or 3 times. And that's fine because it's a new partnership. They've got 8 games under their belt. Listen, I just think Liverpool are one of those teams, they're just going to grow in strength. It's what they do. And this is what top players do. And I think they're just a bit further down the line than we are. You know, I don't know.
I think it's because their midfield. I think normally for me, Liverpool's had a very solid midfield. They haven't had any like major world class players in that midfield, but the old midfield of Liverpool was very solid. It protected that back line a lot. They won a lot of balls high up the pitch with their press, right? And so the fact that they're struggling in that DM role means that the back line is under more pressure than it's used to being under, right? Like, because our back line's always is very used to being under pressure, right? Like that's, I think, one of the reasons why Romero was so rash last season is just the amount of onslaught, right, that you get. And I mean, that's the whole argument for Arsenal fans about Saliba is the reason why his stats aren't great is because he doesn't have to make tackles because their team is so good. Well, okay, good. But Liverpool, that's what they're having to face now. Their defenders are having to face a lot higher numbers of challenges, a lot higher, and the reason I think that they're getting open is because they're not used to it. If they get a DM in January, a good solid DM, I think that they can really transform and change, and that solidifies them. Because I think that Sabaled guy, he's a really good player. He's done really well. I think McAllister is fine in that 8 role, but if he's having to play 6, I think he's just not that guy.
He's not a 6. McAllister not a 6. I think Liverpool without Alisson, Liverpool lose
mid-table.
A lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Maybe like Chelsea.
He's the best. For me, he's the best goalie in the league. I think Alisson's the best goalie.
100%.
I know.
I agree.
He kept what, like 3 shots from Son and Madison out of the back of the net in that Liverpool
Johnson
game?
shot.
People said we couldn't break him down. It was like Allison diving across the goal.
That Johnson shot.
Liverpool's front 4-5 is
amazing, best in the league right now. I think. I think it's better than City's.
This is my point, guys. Right? Like it's for Spurs. It's like, I don't even think our first 3 up front are that great. Like, sorry, like Sonny, we know is going to score goals. After that, I don't think the other 2 that complement Son, whoever it is, are that great. Then you look at Liverpool going, oh, well, Jota can't play today. Oh, go on then. Gakpo will have to do. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, Diaz can't play. Oh, all right, Nunes will have to go in today. They've
Jota.
they've got options. I'm not having a go at Spurs about this. This is the beginning of
No, we don't. Our front line's thin.
Journey so far. But that's why I don't know what you guys think about this, but I was really shocked by, in that last week of the window, I didn't think it would be a Brennan Johnson type. I thought it would be a goal scorer. I thought it would be an out-and-out proven goal scorer. So when he did bring in Brennan Johnson, I was a bit like, I don't know what he's going to do here, because he plays Kulu every game on the right. Brennan Johnson's not a left-sided player. I think he looks uncomfortable out there. So I don't know if you guys felt the same. I was a bit, I'm not sure what he's doing here with that.
I think he kind of got forced to play on the left because of injuries, right? Perisic goes down pretty quick. Solomon went down. And then
I really thought they would have got that guy from Ghent.
Orban.
Even though he's a really young striker and stuff, but he's a striker. And he seems to know.
He could be down in tools because he wanted to move and he didn't get it, right? So,
I'm telling you, Jimenez for me, guys.
Jimenez, I think, is a great player. I think that even somebody, I don't know how Postecoglou thinks of him, because that's a huge question. But I think even somebody like Jonathan David, you see him play for Canada, and he can kind of play anywhere across that front line. He can play on the right. He can play down the middle. He can play. You know what I mean? He can score goals. He's not an amazing player, but he's strong. If in those games where there's a low block, he can bully people. He's a big guy. So, there's I think there's a lot of decent people out there who could do a job. But
are Spurs better off buying an out-and-out striker like an Ivan Toney, or are they better off buying someone who maybe doesn't get as many goals as Toney, still gets a fair few goals, but can play anywhere across the front three?
See, I think we need a Rashford. I think we need a Rashford-esque type of a player, somebody who can play that role, but can also play out left, who's going to get you 12 to 15 goals a season.
They criticize. They Man United fans are putting their hair out with Rashford. They're going mad.
Yeah, but he's just saying the type of player. I hear what you're saying. You need a player that him and Son can interchange.
Right.
They can do this. My only concern with Ivan Toney, listen, I like Toney, and I think whenever I talk about Toney, I get in trouble as normal. I like Toney. I just don't know whether this style of play, I don't know whether or not he limits that. For me, I agree with Will on this. I would want a wide man. As I said before, I want a Salah-esque. I know there's not many of them out there, but I want somebody like that, somebody that hugs the touchline, comes in, scores goals, can complement Son. I think if you put a target man in this team, unless they're super agile, and I'm not sure Toney is, but I may be wrong on that. And I think he's going to go somewhere else anyway. I think he'll go to someone that pays him a lot more money.
You basically want an Iron Robin, that type of player, a creator, a goal scorer, can control games. He's a massive impact player, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
like a Martinelli, a Sane, Ferran Torres,
But there are not too many available right now, especially in January, because it's tough. Because I'm trying to think of
Kvaratskhelia would be a good signing,
Diaby in the summer would have been a good one, but he went to Villa.
Kvaratskhelia can play attacking mid as well. You see.
Yeah. See, this is why. Did you say Diaby will?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who I wanted in the summer. When I was saying, in the summer, people were having a go at me because I was saying, I don't want Kulu, I want Diaby. I was like, pay the extra 15 million that you paid for Kulu, get Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen. That now you're looking dangerous. Now, if we're going forward with Diaby, Son, and one other, I'm starting to feel more threat in there for me. But the reason I want Santiago Jimenez is, for me, I see that this guy is a goal scorer, but he also drops deep. He likes to dribble with the ball from deep. He likes to come back and link up play as well. And I don't know. I definitely think we need more goal threat, because we're only going to feel this pain. People can have a go and dig and call it negative. We're only going to feel this pain at centre half, in attacking midfield, and up front when one of those positions gets a long-term injury. We're going to feel that pain.
What about Malin over at Dortmund?
Donny Malin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's okay.
So what I'm hearing from
Kulu,
the panel,
as far as taking on a man, the speed.
So what you're all saying is we need Harry Kane, basically.
No, I think we need someone with a bit more.
Harry Kane with a bit more zip. Legs.
I think
pace.
someone with legs. I think we're very quick with Porro. Like Van der Ven's quick, Porro's quick, Adoggy's quick, Son's quick. The rest of it is quite static. If we're being brutally honest, Kulu's a static type of footballer. Richarlison's I can't even talk about him. Maddison's not the quickest. Valise isn't the quickest. There's not really. I think we need some dynamism in there. Do you know what I mean? I think we need some unpredictability, and at the moment, I think it's too predictable.
Do you know who was a good little player? I don't know what happened to him. He was at Wolves for a bit. Pedence, was it Pedence, the white guy?
Pedence.
He's still at Wolves, I think, isn't he?
He's still there, isn't he?
Still there.
He's
You take Neto.
I'd take Neto. I'd take a lot of Wolves players.
Oh,
I'd
take that forward as well.
I would take Neto. Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's say, for example, then we sign a goal scorer, the kind of player we've just discussed, and a really good defensive player to cover at the back. Would you then at that point in January say, do you know what? We're probably not going to win the league, but we've got an outside chance here. Or are you not, nah, come on, even if we bought these players?
Outside chance for a top 4?
I'm just trying to get Simon to say yes.
No, I don't. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. I think one thing that I don't think a lot of football fans think about. I get it, right? We like to dream and we like to talk about why nots and ifs and buts and maybes. For me, I think there's a lot to be said for other than the anomalies. Yeah, other than everyone always harps back to Leicester, but Leicester weren't playing against this Arsenal team, this Liverpool team, this Man City team, this Newcastle side. Other than the anomalies still, for me, the problem is it's not just about having a good team. It's about know-how. Yeah? Know-how from the players on the pitch and know-how, more importantly, from your manager, which is why Man City always come good in the second half of the season. The know-how of how to get through the games when you're tired. The know-how of when things aren't working, how do we change it up? It's experience. It's know-how. It's depth. It's all of those things for me. Is just what I think it's just too soon for us. Off the back of 8 games, I've not seen anything that makes me go, yeah, we're winning a title. I'm not knocking anyone that thinks that, by the way. Everyone's entitled to dream. Go and dream. But in reality, I think most people can see that it's just a bit too soon. The squad's not ready.
And that's the thing.
That was Mari.
Mari's on the phone as well.
Mari came on 2 different devices, so echoed. It's okay. Sort it out.
I think that's the thing, right? In terms of it is literally 8 games into this journey for him, and kind of like for all of us, and it is a brand new journey. And we happen to, I think he's accelerated expectations, and we happen to have found a bit of a formula with the players that we've got. And let's be honest, the new players that have come in, Van der Ven, Udogie, Maddison, they've literally hit the ground running, haven't they?
Yeah.
And have had a dream start, shall we say? And
when's that ever happened? When the goalie, the new centre back, the wing back, the mid, they've all come in and hit the ground, every single one of them.
But JP, you know what that means? Like
winning the league.
We're winning the league. For me, and I know people don't like it, but when I kind of take this, if I look at this from the other side of things, what it does mean is they have hit the ground running and everything is going well. What we've got to see from this manager, from this goalkeeper, from this centre-back in Van der Ven, from Maddison, from Sarr, we've got to from Sonny as captain, from all these different things, we've got to see when it's not going well, what happens. Yeah, because it's all, when everything's going well, it's great, right? When everything is going well, it's really easy to say, this guy's the best this in the league, and this guy's in form. And when we're not winning, what does Sonny do as captain, right? When we're not winning, what does, when we're letting in goals at the back, what does Van der Ven do at the age of 22, first season? Does his head drop? Does he keep it up? Udogie as well. All of these different things we've got to see. And I think everyone's just, it's going to be like that, right? It's not just going to be that all season. There's going to be bumps in the road. And when we see those bumps, let's see how everyone reacts. That's it for me. How do they react?
I think we've been seeing the bumps
so
right
far,
now.
yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, Will. I was just going to say, so far, the tests that have been put in front of them, I think they've got past, right? So, like Sheffield United, prime example, losing 1-0 until the back end of the game, literally injury time, bang, ended up winning that. Liverpool, they defended like dogs, but we carried on, persisted, ended up nicking the goal. There's certain things in that Liverpool game, and I think we've already spoken about this, Will, where they had all those 9 men behind the ball on the pitch. They should have thought, well, let's go wide a bit, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's something else to learn. Not that we'll ever play. Kind of who knows? We'll play a team that goes down to 9 men again. But there are little challenges.
The same principles
that the
apply
guys
to a
have
low
had
block,
so far.
right? So
yeah, there's little challenges that they've had so far, and I think they've rode them so
but for
far.
example, JP, what I mean is, let's say, and I don't think this is going to happen before everyone has a go at me. I've got to caveat everything now in life. Imagine you lose to Fulham and you lose to Palace. You've got 2 defeats in a row. That's what I want to see. Right? How do these young players in their first season in the Premier League? How does the manager with his first season in the Premier League? How do we all rally? How do they bounce back from that and go on a run? I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying that we've got to see it, because look at Arsenal last year. That, if anything should show Spurs fans about patience, Arsenal last year went out the blocks by January they had like an 8.9 point lead in the title, and their fans were going mad. And the thing is, I kept saying to them, this can all go like that. And you remember Arsenal played 3 games. It was West Ham, Southampton, and Liverpool, right? And they didn't win any of them. And all of a sudden, they went from 9 points clear to Man City atop. And that's how quickly things change. And they never recovered. They didn't recover from that.
Can I maybe throw in what might be the symmetry breaker in that? Because I agree. I think that comes down to the fact too that their manager is unexperienced in this as well, right? Like he's coming out of a city, he came into an Arsenal side. He doesn't have the 30 years of utter, brick walls being placed in front of your career development and having to climb and that pressure. And even though it's not the Premier League, right? Because we were just talking about the level of the players, but if you're talking about the amount of pressure that Postecoglou had to face in his career, I think he's a more seasoned general than I think Arteta is.
I agree completely. I do completely agree with you. For me, the biggest test is going to be, it's going to be, I'm so worried about losing one of those centre halves. Right? I'm so worried. How does that completely change the defence? How do we play this high line with a Ben Davies or an Eric Dyer in there? All of a sudden, let's say 2 hypotheticals. Let's say a Doggy and Van der Ven both get injured, and you're now back to Ben Davies and Dyer as your centre half. Do you know what I mean? It's these things that completely change on a knife edge, and I just don't. For me, it's just all a bit too soon, and I just keep my feet on the ground.
For me, right? And like Will and I had an argument, surprise. We had an argument last week about the second half where, it wasn't just Will, most of the panel was saying how the changes were tactical to nullify Luton and because we were down to 10 men. And I was arguing, no, I think we gave up on playing our type of football and not pushing them back with a press and trying to engage higher up the pitch and forcing errors and just playing the kind of football I've seen Ange play this season. And for me, what something I've noticed, and this is my biggest worry if we get injuries, it's not that an average player is going to come on the pitch. It's that a player is going to come on the pitch that can't play the football that's winning us games. They can't play this one-touch, two-touch football at pace, with accuracy, moving into the right space, receiving it in the right area. I just don't think they can do it. And I've seen it in the past. Coming on for Conte and Nuno and Mourinho and just hold your position, defend, block, challenge, kick it forward once you get it, great. I think most footballers can do that at some level. But to receive the ball, keep possession, lay it off straight away with accuracy to feet, the right way to pass, move into space to receive again, know how to create the overloads. This is what worries me. When I hear the word Ben Davies, I shit myself because I think, yeah, you could probably do something decent defensively, but can you play, let's call it Ange ball, Can you play handball? I don't think you
Not
can.
for 90
And
minutes.
That's
this
where
is
we're
my
8
worry.
games in, right? Still, that's where we're 8 games in with this new style compared to what those guys have been doing before, and you're going to need to kind of turn over that squad.
I just don't
It
think Ben
can't
Davies has that in his toolbox.
he's
Yeah,
not going
like
to have
Eric
it.
Dyer.
Dice not going to
Eric
have it.
Dyer playing
Hoy-
2-touch possession
Højbjerg.
football at the back. I'm shitting myself.
I mean,
You know?
Højbjerg, even to an extent, you know, like as well as he was for us last year, and as well as he's been a bit of a good servant for us, you just see him chasing at the moment because
He's not so bad a bit further up. I get what you're saying, but he's not so bad a bit further up. But yeah, he's not
But
Basuma.
it's
mate.
going to
He's-
need time to
JP, you're
get rid
right.
of those Davises.
When
Get rid of those
Højbjerg
people.
comes on, it's okay because you've got 15, 20 minutes of a game, right? Can he do what the others do from the
You don't
start
want
of the
90
game?
minutes.
We'll
Yeah, you
find
don't
out
want
on
extra
Monday.
90 minutes.
The thing is, we
Gio
are,
might be
look,
back.
I listen. I'm with you on this one. Still, I think that's the worry. It's, you know, it's all right when people are going, oh, so and so did all right when he came on. You know, so and so getting, whoever that may be, getting 10 minutes at the end of a game. Cool, that's all right. But when you're starting a game and you've got to play that intensity and you've got to, you know, keep the ball moving, you need that energy and that urgency. This is where I just think it's just a bit too soon. And this is why, for me, every window now is important. We need to become a club where every window is important, because what we've been, for me, for the last decade or two has been, we have a good window, then we don't for 3 or 4. Then we have a good window, then we don't for 3 or 4. And it's like, no, we need to stop having these windows where we sign 7 or 8 players and try and change everything. We need to get to a point where 2 come in January, 3 coming in the summer, 2 coming in. Do you know what I mean? And it's of the quality we need that can play the style of play that Ange Postecoglou plays. That's not gonna happen overnight. It might happen over 8 games, but not over night. You know,
it's a nightmare scenario, because here's the thing, right? We're giving accolades for Vicario. We're giving accolades to VDV, Udoji, and Romero. If we have that injury, right, and still, you know, that the video you will talk about in Van's system, we play out the back. Even when Arsenal pressured us in Liverpool, we were disciplined to play off the back. Now we're back to Eric Dyer playing long balls when him and Davies come back, where there's now Vicario is now in more precarious situations. So that's what is hugely important, that we get another center back in January, because if we're put back in that position, then it's almost Edge is forced to somewhat play a little bit like Conte ball from the back, because we got to hit long balls.
Murray, I stick to what.
If we try to out the back, you got Dyer, who was horrible at his feet. You got Dyer's Ben Davies, who was like, is all back to last year. And so that's why it's hugely important. I think when January comes around, we sign another center back, because the importance of us playing out the back.
Well, what about Phillips? We signed Phillips. Is he ahead of Dyer?
I don't know.
He's got to be. I'd rather see him play than I'd rather see him play and make 10 mistakes than Dyer come and play and make one.
Has he got enough experience to be ahead of Dyer?
I mean, for me, look, I'm at the point now where if we go and we get some injuries and we start making mistakes, I still want us to see us play our football. Like that's what I want to see, right? I would rather lose games playing this system so that we can get better at it and have to weather the banter from rivals than try to start putting square pegs into round holes again, right? Like I don't want to do that, right? If this is supposed to be a fresh restart, a rebuild, we have to keep the system and the mentality that we're trying to build. If we go away from that and we start getting under pressure and we start worrying about the results, like I don't think the team, like us as fans, we can have different expectations than the guys that are there, right? I don't want them to be worrying about the results and where we're at. I want them to worrying about building Postecoglou's system, right, and playing that to its best. Because even if there are struggles, if we continue to do that, and he says that's what he's going to do, the future will look better than it currently does, right? and we can get into next January window. And even if we fall down, even if we finish 6th, right? Even if we make a mare of it and we bottle the current statistic of 93% of finishing in the top 4 from where we're at now, I can take the banter from Stefan and TJ and the guys from the TFT and the NAF, right? Like I can handle that banter.
You know, Igal's gonna come.
Yeah, I can handle Igal as long as we're still working towards what we've seen, the flash of Ange ball that we've seen in the past
Plan,
8 games,
the model,
right?
the philosophy.
We got to stick to the philosophy. The philosophy for me is what we were all crying out for last, right? I mean, I've heard Sava say it 1,000 times. I don't see us having a system. I don't see us having a philosophy, right? So we got to hold that philosophy now, I think. Win, lose, or draw, that's got to be the focus, I think, for the players, right? Us as fans, of course, we can talk about it. We can debate on YouTube. We can get in there. Yeah, well, that's good. I hope that's the case. But for me, that's what I want to see. Win, lose, or draw.
He has to, because the academy isn't changing at all the way they're doing it. And the academy feeds into the first team now, the way they've set it up. So any player we sign must fit the system of the club. Any training session we do must match the philosophy of the club. Playing out from the back, possession, working through the lines, creating overloads wide, up top. None of this is changing. Unless Ange gets sacked and the academy director gets sacked, then...
That's why still I would rather see that Ashley Phillips play, because if you put Dyer in there, he can't play that system, which means he's going to fuck up, right? If he plays a long ball, that's not going along with the philosophy and the plan and kind of like the formations that we play, right? So I would much rather see that Ashley Phillips in there doing what Ange is asking him to do and continuing that progression.
Yeah, I'd rather see the kid Darton come in. Then Dario come in and just F it up in regards to playing out the back.
Maury, do you know the problem with bringing in youngsters at the moment, right? And this is what I was saying last year. So last season I said I don't want to see any youngsters play for Spurs because the environment is so bad, it's just going to crush them. Now, at the start of the season, I was saying, look, now we should bring through youngsters, because if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? There's no pressure on us to get top 4. There's no pressure on us to win trophies. This is almost like a free hit year. Bleed in the youngsters, let them evolve and see where they end up. And if in 2 years' time they're doing well, you keep them. If not, well, at least we gave it a go. We move you on. A bit like Arsenal, they brought in Willock, they brought in Nate Lamars, they brought in Smith Rowe, they brought in Saka. Some worked, some didn't, but they brought them in at a time when, 8th. Okay. Problem now, because we're first, fan expectation has gone up, media expectation has gone up. You bring in a youngster now and it goes wrong, people are going to turn on the manager. They're going to turn on the fan channels, are going to turn against us.
Think they should have.
That's exactly what I said.
But that's what's going to happen, though, isn't it? The expectation has just shifted. So
my expectation was to find a DNA, to find a philosophy, to find the direction. And within this year, right, as great as top 4 is, right, the biggest blessing is unearthing some of this talent, like Ashley Phillips. If he gets a chance to play, that's wonderful, because then we can see, all right, is this player really good? Valley is he's really good? Darton, if he's really good.
But if we have a games though,
who can, like, once again, I don't think he can play Ange ball. There's a couple of players on the team I don't think they can play Ange ball. We put him in because of the pressure of top 4, right? And we all know Daniel Levy, right? He loves a good top 4. So that's why I think January, second half of the season is going to be really interesting, because, if you believe the rumors that we didn't try to beat the Fulham game because he wants them to concentrate on the Premier League, because the Premier League is important than domestic cups. It's going to be a true test coming in the second half of the season. Because for me, my expectation is, hey, I don't care if you play the young players or whatsoever. This year is a year of progress, building that progress. Now that we're sitting at top of the league, are we going to be overzealous? Or are we going to be unreasonable in the sense of, okay, all right, we must get top 4. I want top 4, but it's not a must. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
I think outside of money, though, Mari, outside of the money that the club would get, getting to top 4, will that give us anything next season?
What have we ever done with top 4, JP? What
We're
have
not
we
going to go
ever
and buy £100
But
million
that's
players
my
and give the
point.
Champions League a good go and stuff. All right, turning up in the Champions League,
I just
great.
don't think the
We've got-
100. I don't think the
top
big
4.
£100 million players are going to be as important in the
Ready for something.
Postecoglou
Yeah.
system that he had to
Mm.
do, right?
As-
I
as
just think for me, Postecoglou's already said that he doesn't want to win just for winning's sake, right? He wants to build a philosophy and a structure at the club that is so that we can win consistently for a long time, right? Not flashes in the pan. And for me, I expect him to hold it. I think that's good for the players. I think it relieves some of the pressure off them. I think he's burdening a lot of the pressure on himself, and I think that's good. We're fans. We're different than them anyway, so we want to see different things. But yeah, I don't expect us, especially with our owner, to be going out and buying, great players that are already, because if he wasn't going to buy ready-made players under Jose and Conte, he's not going to do it under Postecoglou either, right? So it's just a matter of finding quality players. If we can get Højbjerg out in January, which apparently he's linked with Juventus, right, to go on loan in January. We've got what's his name, Hugo Lloris leaving in January. If we can get rid of Dyer in January to Porto, and then we can bring in 2 or 3 people that actually fit the system, that's fresh. And the more that we whittle away all of that old dead wood, the Sessegnons and the Rodins and all of this, as long as the more we get rid of all of these players and we start bringing in 100% Ange players, then after about a year and a half, if he's continually failing over and over again, sure, then we get rid of him. But until that happens, I'm not too worried about it really in the short term. I'm just enjoying where we're at. I just like bantering Arsenal fans right now, so that's where I'm getting my kicks from.
I think it's really important, right, as well. Like the theme that I walked into in the show was about, expectations from fans and have they changed? And it's okay for expectations to change, but I still feel we all have to remember where we were to what was our original plans for the season. Yes, they can change. Yes, they can move, but we have to look at what is long-term, what is short-term. And what I mean by that is, does a good start for 8 games suddenly mean everything that we had said we wanted as football fans in the window goes out the window? For me, it doesn't.
No.
For me, the be-all and end-all is, listen, if you can get top 4 and get back into Champions League, great. If you can win an FA Cup, great. If you can't, I'm not judging Postecoglou on that. I said at the beginning of the summer, all I want to see from this year, I don't care if we finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 10th, is I want to see a philosophy. I want to see something implemented that we all go, right, we know what we are now. Now, it looks like we're going to do better than that, and that's great. But I think fans, as long as the fans remember that, as long as the fans, if we do get to the season and we finish 5th, for example, we flopped. Remember
don't throw a wobbly,
right? Yeah, just remember where we were. Just remember what we're working towards. And this is what I keep saying: every window is really important. But a lot of the fans that I see coming into my show and calling me negative and saying, "Oh, we're in a title challenge," and blah, blah, blah. A lot of the same fans that were having a go at me when I was saying I'm not bothered about Kane going. Like I'm not saying I wasn't like willing him to go, but it was like, yeah, cool.
If he wasn't going to sign, then
yeah. If he wasn't going to sign, go, and then we'll be more of a team. And you put Sonny through the middle, and I think we're going to be okay. And lots of those people now suddenly forgot their predictions of, oh my God, we're going to finish bottom half, and we're going to be in a relegation battle, and who scores all our goals? All of a sudden, they're the fans now going, oh, you lot are negative. We're in a title race. And I just think we fluctuate so quickly in terms of our expectations. And look, when all is said and done, if anyone said to you top 4, 5 at the beginning of the season, would everyone on this panel have bitten their hands off for that? Someone said to you, we're going to finish 4th, 5th. You would, right?
I literally said 8th, but I want to see a foundation.
Sure.
Exactly. That was the same exact thing. 8th, foundation, a direction for the club. That would be a successful year for me this season. And now that we are playing, we're top of the league, okay, this is even better. But the expectation is still the same. Direction of the team. I want to see a direction. I want to see a philosophy. I want to see a vision for the team. If we have that, I don't care if we finish 8th. Mission accomplished.
Sod
Do
that,
you know what?
Murray. Now that we're here, I want to finish top.
I disagree a bit here, right? My prediction was 7th or 8th with Kane, relegation battle without Kane. That was my prediction. What I didn't
that one wrong,
anticipate.
didn't
Big
Wrong
time.
again.
Well, I was wrong because I never thought every signing we bought, bar Solomon, plus the return of Udogie from loan, would be this good this early on. I don't think any fan would have thought that was going to be the case. Where they're actually, you don't even need a bedding in period. You just Van de Ven, first time Premier League. He looks like an absolute immense player at the moment. So no one, Maddison, in the season of his life so far. So I never thought Udogie looks like the left back replacement for Danny Rose we've been crying out for since Rose left. So I never thought Porro can defend. Like I never thought these things would happen like that. So that's kind of where
batting 9,000.
I don't know what you said, but okay.
Stell's over 9,000 is what I said.
So I was shocked.
Dragon
but now,
Ball Z, the meme. You don't.
Oh, I don't watch Dragon Ball Z.
It's just a meme. It's like you're so good. Your predictions are so good that it's like sarcastic.
Yeah, you're trying to banter me, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're trying to banter me. I never thought Spurs would the players would be this good this early on. So the fact that they have is credit to the transfer window, Levy and the board, and credit to Ange for making it all work. So I never thought that was going to happen, but now I've seen what I'm seeing.
Credit
now I know
Levy. Did you say?
Listen, I have always been fair. If things are done in a way that work, I will praise the board. If we win a trophy, I will praise Levy. I will, but do it first.
Do you know what though? There's a huge difference still. Sorry, go on.
The last thing I want to say is, now that I'm seeing this and it's happening so quickly, I expect Spurs now to be challenging as a proper top 4 contender now. That my expectations completely shifted, and it's okay to do that. It's like Arsenal fans. None of them thought title race last year. They were just hoping we can get into that top 4. But when you get to January and you are in a title race, you want to see your board go for it. They didn't. They tried to get Vlahovic. They didn't get the striker they wanted. It cost them. So for me, I'm the same. My expectations completely shifted. For me, Spurs are serious top 4 contenders, especially with the competition not being as good as what it was. Some of the teams, and they've got Europe and we don't. So I'm now waiting to see what Spurs do in January, and I'll tell you whether or not we've really changed. January will tell me if Spurs have really changed or not. That's how I look at it.
I completely agree. Listen, guys, I do need to jump in 6 seconds. Just before I do, I think the key thing for me is, and this is the beauty of being old and ugly, is that you've been here, seen it, done it, right? And I think still you're spot on. Let's see. But when people tell me, oh, our policy's changed, all right, we'll see. We'll see if that happens every window. But more than anything is there's a difference between 8 games, because 8 games for me is form, right? 8 games doesn't determine you. 8 games for me is form. Loads of clubs throughout the season will have 8-game runs where they're in good form. Doesn't mean they're going to win a title. Doesn't mean they're going to challenge. Consistency is key for me. Consistency is absolutely key for me. And that's not just in the way the team play. It's the players that we sign. That's in the way that the club run. And what I want to see is, I want to see us get through to 2025. Let's get through to October 2025, 2 years from now. Same manager, same director of football, same scouts, same academy directors. Do you know what I mean? I want to see some continuity, some stability at the football club where it's not, oh my God, right, this guy's come in now and we're going to completely change the youth. This guy's come in, we're going to completely change how we scout. Let's let it all bed down. So for me, if I ever seem like I'm not enjoying it, I have enjoyed a lot of what we've done this season so far, but I'm also seeing things that worry me. And I don't know if other people might disagree with me. I was worried from what I saw against Sheffield United. I was worried how we didn't move the ball quick enough and how we looked completely out of ideas. I was worried against Liverpool, how again, we looked like we didn't have any ideas. I did think that against Luton that we were mediocre, but that's okay because it's 8 games in. So for me, my message to Spurs fans, just keep your feet on the ground and it's a long season. There's 90 points to play for, but everything is fine. Everything is good. Everything's nice. But the last thing I'll say, I was doing a watch along for Spurs Sheffield United, right? And with 8 minutes to go, what was it? The 95th minute, the 100th minute or whatever it was in. People were, oh my God, Spursy is back. See, we can't break down. Nothing's changed. These players, 2 goals in 3 minutes later. Oh my God, we're winning a league title. Postecoglou. This is the key thing, right? Like, if you hadn't have got that last minute winner against Liverpool and you hadn't have got that last minute winner against Sheffield United, no one's talking like this. So I think it's fine lines, keep your feet on the ground. Let's have a good season, but let's not beat the manager if we don't get what everyone is now really, really hoping for. Let's let him do his thing. But I do have to go. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're gonna wrap it up anyway. When are you next on again, sir?
Oh, okay. Sorry, mate.
When are you next on again? We're gonna wrap it up anyway.
Next on my channel, or
yeah.
When are you next?
What do you got coming up that people can go find you?
I'm not doing as much these days. I've got my show tomorrow morning at 10. I'm going to do a little watch along for England. Don't know why. And then probably the Spurs review on Sunday. But I haven't got too much coming up these days. I've got old and boring.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Yes.
Yep. And Alan from Time and On will also be on Wednesday. We will look at the next quarter of games of what we want to see, who needs to step up in these next couple of games. And we'll also talk about expectations, but we'll look at the next 8 games, which is going to be crucial of what we do in January. So, yeah, that'll be on Wednesday.
People, smash the like, subscribe to Tottenham Away and to Heritage Football TV. Football Heritage TV. Also, we're back on Wednesday. Mari's Lounge. Sav's gonna be on that channel with Alan, as he said. We're doing North London is ours on Thursday.
Yep, we'll preview the weekend games with TJ, Stefan, and Connor.
We're just going to argue for 2 hours like we always do with Arsenal.
No predictions, just loads of arguments. Just no predictions.
I've got, I will tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. UK time, I'll be on with Ashmatic over on Southview Coys. I don't know what the topic is, but I'll be over there. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern time, or I guess that's 12 midnight UK time, I'll be over on Footy Judge, and I'll be debating Coonley, who's a gooner, Nigerian gooner.
Well done on that the other day, though. It was a great show.
Yeah. So my docket of debating gooners is filling up fast.
I don't know who the Arsenal fan in the black Arsenal kit was. Mate, he got absolutely mullered on that show. Absolutely taken to the cleaners. But anyway, check that out Friday night as well. I'll probably be doing the Friday night preview and then weekend watch along and all that stuff. So check it all out. Sava, thanks for coming on.
I enjoyed it, mate. Thank you for having me.
TJ, thank you for the membership, and William as well. Matt for the super chat. Big up. Henry Thong. It's about Henry 2000. Thank you as well, guys. And we are going to love you and leave you. Take care.
Ciao.
Ciao.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away.